Here we are live on Summoner's Rift out here in DCU. The sun is shining both here in person and on Summoner's Rift as we get ready for the first game of Week 8. Bray Wanderers and Team 3. Bray currently 4 and 3 in the standings, tied for 5th place. Team 3 5 and 2, tied for 2nd in the playoff spot right now, but Bray want to take that away from them. However, it is Team 3 looking for maybe the more aggressive move at the start. Kevin Mann will spot them out, pops a ward in the bush as he sees them. Early game, very interested in this one. Team 3, we'd expect them to just be the stronger team early on. I think they can get advantages, especially around that top lane, and Bray notoriously weak, but maybe having this new jungler in Raytex will change things for them.
It will be very interesting to see how they do. And then what an interesting matchup for him to come into. You know, as Trundle against
He's forgotten items.
Oh,
nerves possibly on the stage.
It might be first time playing on a stage with an audience and everything. It's those sorts of things that can definitely get to.
He does not have time to back now. He's going to be doing that first camp without his starting item. Oh, that is when it comes to how you want to start your first game for your new team. Not purchasing items is, especially as a jungler, is the worst thing to have happen to you.
It really is, and fortunately I don't think 3 are aware of it, because I think if they were, they definitely would be looking to make some aggression, but it's definitely to Team 3's advantage in bot lane where they're looking to fight. But Renkus did go in, so maybe they are aware of it now. It'll be interesting to see what does Slippy do, and what does Renkus and Yo, how do they respond to this. But I actually think he might be backing.
Good.
Yep, he is backing to buy the items. So he grabbed the blue and then backed off.
Realized his mistake and is now going to go out and continue his regular clear. I wonder if Rengus saw him, because Rengus could hit the tab and see that there are no items in that inventory, and that may encourage Slippy to go a little bit more aggressive. But Slippy just going through his regular clear as the Ivern does, which does afford Raytex a bit of space. We saw the trades in the bot lane as well. Munchstealer and Kevin Mann getting a good bit of damage down early, which is crucial to hinder the level 2 that could come out of the Lucian and the Braum.
Well, they have a great amount of poke with the two of them, and they're able to just kind of combo that in, especially once they get the level 2 spike, which I think is exactly what happened. It'll be interesting to see how Munchstealer really uses his empowered Qs, because that in lane can be so frustrating, and if he's hitting, I mean, they cost a lot, so missing them, it's a double-edged sword, but if you are able to hit them, then it's definitely can have quite a big impact and does a lot more damage than I think many people expect to come out of it. Going back to Raytex, he just kind of did a normal clear, grabbed blue very safe, went back, bought his items, went straight for the red to prevent having any buffs being stolen away. But now I think once Cramp, a little bit of action now.
Raytex actually going aggressive here, going to make Slippy as uncomfortable as possible. If he can get in the enemy jungle here, Slippy wants to get that Grump, but Trundle's making it a tougher task than he maybe would have expected. Raytex, despite that early gap, not showing too much hesitation here in this opening game. Seems to be back on track.
Yeah, especially going in and getting that information. Obviously will neuter whatever advantage that Team 3's jungler had, because they now know where he is. He's in the bot lane. They know exactly what level and health he's at. So it gives them a bit of knowledge, and it lets them push up, as we can see in this bot lane right now. Cramp has hit level 3, which is kind of a crucial point for Lucian, because he gets access to all 3 pieces of his kit, which gives him the burst damage, but we can see Ivan moving around into the mid lane.
Could see Slippy looking to make a play in the mid lane, however, seemingly no action breaking out there. No CC connecting onto that Cassiopeia, so Hawkins will be fine. Ivan not able to make anything happen with his first gank. Raytex once again looking for the aggressive trade here and is going to keep this Ivern slowed down for quite some time. He seems to be getting quite a bit of damage down, but the top lane, every time we go back to the top lane, it's Rengus chipping away at that health bar, gaining a CS lead here. This has to be a bit of a worry for Bray.
Yeah, it is. I mean, he's got 12 CS up on Zoinkarino, which is Moo at the moment. He lost the bet last week, so he had to change his name for this week. But he's a level ahead. He's 12 CS ahead, and he just seems to be bullying Moo in this top lane at the moment. So it's definitely not something that you want to happen. Just something to touch on, actually. Slippy's gank in the mid lane is something to note, that obviously Hawkins is not a mobile champion. on the Cassiopeia.
Yeah.
So Ivan's abilities kind of favor being able to jump in on him, which then Yo can chain into the Swain grab. So it could be quite a deadly combo if they're able to catch Hawkins out of position. So it'll be interesting to see where Hawkins plays, how far away from his tower he does, and whether he goes over that mid line.
Yeah, that's actually got to be pretty annoying when the Ivan Recaller connects and you get everyone jumping to you. You get pulled back in by Swain. It's a pretty nasty situation off the back of one ability, but wasn't able to find anything onto the Cassiopeia there. Hawkins able to play pretty nicely defensively, which I think as the Cassiopeia you'll be looking to do. It gets a bit tougher though when Swain gets to that level 6 point, which Yo has hit. He's actually looking to go for the aggressive trade. He used the Demonic Ascension there.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit overeager.
Maybe a little bit, especially as he backed off.
Oh wow, Rengar's doing a lot of damage. He was thinking about going under the tower. Sonic Reno though, he's going to be okay for now, but he already used that teleport.
I think if he hadn't been hit by that one tower shot, he would have flashed in for it maybe. But you can see a TP down for both top laners, but both flashes are still up. So Rengar's playing with flash on D though, so just suboptimal. Have to call him out on that. Yeah, I think Yo popped the ultimate defensively, but maybe a little bit over here, but it should be okay. Hawkins has got his ultimate though up.
He can make some plays with that Petrifying Gaze if needs be. We'll see if any ganks are coming the way of mid lane. Raytex is pretty quiet in terms of getting into the lanes. Seems to be just going through his clear as per usual. Nice word from Rengus. We'll be able to spot him out on the blue buff. So good information coming in from Team 3 here. There are some counter wards in that bot side jungle on Team 3's end. So both these teams doing a decent job of keeping information up. But so far, mostly a quiet opening to this game. Where do you expect the first real action to start breaking out?
Ooh, you know what? With Rengar's aggression, kind of top lane, I would have said the bot lane, but nothing's happened so much there so far. So I was kind of actually leaning towards mid lane, but Rengus has just not been letting up in top lane and now forcing Mu to back, and TP is down. So this is going to be, I don't know if the wave will crash into turret before he can get back in, so I don't think he'll miss too much CS, but he's still about 12-13 CS behind, so it's just small advantages that Rengus is not losing and not giving Mu the opportunity to get back up with some more action mid lane.
Yeah, Hawkins going for an aggressive trade onto that Swain once again, even with the never move connecting. This Cassiopeia happy to play aggressive, but Bray right now, both their carries stacking those tiers, so it's going to take a while for the damage to come in. They might just be lagging behind, although I say that, looking at that bot lane, that Lucian's pretty low on health.
Yeah, and this is the issue with Lucian at the moment. He's got such a short range, and his damage just isn't ideal. And again, something like an Ezreal Karma who can just poke, you're going to be taking so much damage. There's only so much you can avoid, and only so much that Braum is able to block. And we can see that Bray moves in and actually steals the blue buff from Team 3.
Nice call there from Bray, able to just sneak away that blue buff. I'm not sure who it went over to. If they got on the Ezreal, that is
I think it might have gone
very handy for Kevinman in that lane. And so far so good. Bray not really surrendering the early advantages that we tend to see them give over. I think it becomes a different story when we get to that mid game, but it's seeming pretty tight in the opening of this one.
Yeah, so something I was thinking about earlier on was...
Oh, hang on, Rengus gets the counter-strike, looking for the stun, forcing the flash away. He follows it, and the empowered auto-attack is enough. First blood for Rengus.
No, so the blue buff did go over to Radex, but Rengus just... relentless in his aggression. He knows how hard he needs to carry, and he's doing his very best to do that through this
might have seen an engage coming in the bottom lane, but the culling is used to send Raytex and Kevinman away. Bray trying to make the aggressive play, but not able to really lock up the members of the Team 3 bot lane. Rengus, though, hammering away on that top tower. We can't see it right now, but that's a Jax alone with the tower. That could be first brick gold to Team 3's top laner, and it is.
So this was something actually I was about to talk about, is that actually Team 3, it works in Team 3's advantage to keep things in lane. Obviously Jax is doing a really good job into Cho'Gath. If Cramp and Sock Monster were actually dominating this bot lane, it would work to their advantage, but they're not. That being said, whilst they're losing, it seems, the trades, they are ahead in CS, but it's the mid lane where Hawkins is just outclassing Yo.
Yeah, the CS advantage top lane is offset a little bit by the farm lead for Hawkins in that mid lane, but Rengus has the kill, Rengus has the tower, so his advantage over this Cho'Gath is going to be more pronounced. And now Slippy looking to make a play in the mid lane. All the crowd control misses, and a nice petrifying gaze will slow them down, but Daisy's still hammering away, and they're going to be able to pull in Raid Dex, who was trying to defend his mid laner, but it's not enough. Hawkins flashing over the wall, looking to make a play, has the backup from the move, but Yo is happy to get all of his health back, draining the life force out of Hawkins and Zoinkarino. They root up the Cho'Gath, looking to finish off Hawkins, and they take him down. Munchstealer has joined the fray, but Rengus just going ham under the tower, gets the second kill onto this Cho'Gath. Tower aggro will be enough to finish it off. Kevinman is credited with the kill, but 3 just running rampant in the mid lane, taking the fight.
Massive fight there, and that's exactly what we were talking about earlier, is that if this Ivern and the Swain are able to combo, it's so annoying and so frustrating to get away, because even though like Hawkins got a good ultimate and good amount of damage off onto Yo, Swain just pops his ultimate, becomes so tanky, absorbs so much damage, and then is able to kind of burst back that damage. Rengus with a great roam down secures 3 kills for 3 and only dying once because he got caught under tower.
Team 3 with a great advantage.
Position.
Kevinman looking like he might eat the culling, but is able to arcane shift out of it as the Team 3 duo lane pushes in. We talked about Bray being tight, but as soon as we said that, they lose that solo kill in the top lane, and then a skirmish goes horribly, horribly wrong for them, and now they face a 2k goal deficit. So much of it on this Jax as well, and when it comes to that late game insurance, I think that is exactly what Team 3 need to play that stage of the game.
It's exactly what you want, and we were talking about it. We were like, Rengus needs to get online with this Jax, and it's going to be later on, but now we're looking, he's got a Sheen, he's got his Phage, and he's really building up. So it's like at this point, that weaker moments in the laning phase and so on, it's bypassed, and it just means that late game power spike is going to come that much earlier. I think the biggest worry is in the bot lane, but they're not doing bad at all when you consider that they're actually 10 CS ahead. It's the mid lane I'm most worried about, but with the items and so on, all Yo really needs to do with the Swain is be an off-tank, annoying presence in the front line with Slippy using CC and a bit of chaos.
Oh, Raidsex might have stepped a little bit too far forward. Rengus going to jump on him, and the Trundle has to flash away. Pillar to get him to safety as well. Hawkins might be caught up by this Swain. However, in the bottom lane, another trade coming in here. Kevinman looking to trade back here. Munchstealer has to watch out, but the concussive blows do not come through. The heal has to be used on Sock Monster, but Cramp still wants to go aggressive here, proccing those double shots. A little bit of damage coming back from the Karma, and a fairly even trade between both those duo lanes. Team 3 though seeming to step more and more in control across the map, and it might be another solo killer here. Rengus under the tower is able to finish off the Cho'Gath, and the tower aggro is not enough to trade one back. Team 3's top laner finally having the carry performance he's been missing these last few weeks.
I mean, fraction of health, like playing on the edge, but there we go. Trinity Force completed for Rengus in the top lane, 4-1-1. If he was destroying Moo before, what's he gonna do now?
Teleports in to help finish off the Rift Herald, and Bray have to be scared for their lives of this Jax, who has 4 kills. He already has that first item completed. He's going to be a terror, not even when it gets to the late game. He's a terror already.
Exactly, and now the question is who can deal with him? Because he's just going to be hammering in that top lane turret. They're not lane swapping. They're holding off the damage on their tower. Bot lane is taking a little bit, but we can see tier 2 is already half health already. They're looking to try and grab this bot lane. It looks like they'll be able to do it. Most likely what they'll do is then they'll swap the lanes around, put their bot lane in the top lane to try and hold off some of Rengus's aggression and give Zoinkarino a little bit of a chance to get some CS, because he's 30 CS behind, 3 levels behind.
This is going to be a tier 2 tower going down though. Rift Herald should be able to finish it off even on its own here, and Rengus is going to hop in for the last few autos on that tower. Team 3's top laner, huge performance in these first 15 minutes here. The lane swap is coming in, but so much damage has already been done in that top lane.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, it's really not a problem for that lane swap because he's not strong enough and they don't have enough vision to be able to pressure that inhibitor turret. It's too early in the game. We're not even 15 minutes in, and they have a 2.5k gold lead. So swapping down to the bot lane and taking that bot lane out of turret and maybe putting some action in the mid lane. Do I stop? No? No?
Yeah, no, Hawkins, actually, he is sticking around. The rotation is coming in from Team 3. But Bray playing passively enough to not get caught out by it. However, Team 3 with control of that Dragon Pit just as the Inferno spawns. This should fall nicely into their hands if all things go according to plan.
So what did Bray do to kind of even this up? They're only 2.5k. I mean, it's a bit. It's
try not to die to the Jax. I think that's all you can really do right now.
Yeah, there we go. Infernal Drake going over to Team 3. It's a nice little pickup, a little bit more damage to them. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them trying to pressure mid lane. And yeah, we can see obviously Bray responding to that Drake with some aggression. Should be able to get this down to
looking
below
to push the tower in, but they have to be careful of the collapse coming out because that Jax is still in close proximity. And those Sheen procs will be absolutely wrecking the squishy members of Bray Wanderers. They're still grouped as 5. Going ARAM mode right now, and it does force Team 3 on the defensive under this tower.
I gotta say, I feel for Moo. I hate Jax. Hate playing against him.
Oh, actually, a nice route lands. They could be able to turn this onto Hawkins. Has to use the Petrifying Gaze. Rengus jumps on in after, nearly able to burst him out. But the damage coming out from Bray! They turn it into 2 kills on the Jax and the Braum. And 3 thought they had the fight. It gets reversed. Yo, though, as this Swain still doing a lot of damage, nearly killing Kevin Man with the Demon Flare. Has to flash away from Cramp. Cramp trying to finish off a kill for himself, but not able to turn it into one more. Bray playing a tight game, and he gets it! The Vision of Empire from Yo finishes off the kill, and despite a rough start for Team 3 in that fight, they managed to pick off a few kills at the end of it and make it an even trade.
I mean, Cramp is really coming online now. He's got the Essence Reaver. You were right, that is the build he's going on now, and he's starting to do a lot of damage, a lot of burst damage that I think people have forgotten about. And that Vision of Empire, I think people forget the range and the size of it.
Yeah.
It's just... it's a little bit ridiculous at times, but Rengus getting shut down pretty early on, and Hawkins surviving despite taking a couple of tower shots. Quite good play out of him, but flashes down across the board on the side of Bray, apart from Moo. Whereas on the side of 3, we have Rengus has his, Slippy has his, and Sock Monster's about to have his. So there's an opportunity for them to make a play.
Yeah, certainly. Team 3 can still make these fights happen. It looks so perfect. Whenever you land that E on the Swain under your own tower onto one of the enemy carries, it's perfect. We just chain this into the rest of our damage and we can secure this kill. But Bray figured, screw it, we might as well fight. Managed to find 2 kills, and that is the most even fight we have seen them take all game, I believe. They have been dancing to the beat of Team 3's drum for the most part, but finding a little bit of success from that mid lane has to be a confidence boost, at least for the team that was falling so far behind.
Yeah, absolutely. They've managed to kind of bring things back within about 1,000 gold. For
Ratex, though, walking into the bush, might be caught out here as the CC is chained onto him. There is no way they are helping him out of there. Face checks the bush. Kevin Man, though, looking for a little bit of damage, but not able to finish off the Braum. Bray's jungler gives over another kill to Team 3.
Yeah, and we see that burst damage coming out of Cramp, able to take Ratex out, who is kind of still not... yeah, I mean, at 0 and 3, 86 CS, he's not got a lot on him at the moment, but Cramp needs to be careful about getting too far forward, because Kevin Man is doing a good amount of damage.
I think Munch Stealer as well is doing quite a bit of damage.
Yeah.
Still that point in the game where Karma can hurt you quite a bit if you are not wary of those Mantra Qs coming out. So Team 3 will have to be wary, but they do have, once again, that solo lane matchup in that bottom lane. Rengus knows that Hawkins is missing as well, but if he can find the Cassiopeia on his own, he can take that. This is Rengus' jungle. They have to collapse on him as 3 to stop him. He's going to be able to get the red buff anyway, and has to flash over the wall. Yeah, paying respect there so we can get out alive.
I don't think he had a ward to ward hop to.
Yeah,
it's on cooldown, so that's what that was. But yeah, he's definitely, but he's not afraid, and we can see they need to drop a few wards at the moment because there's not a lot of vision by either side of the teams. But focusing on the mid lane turret, and that's going to fall to Bray, bringing things back within 1,000 gold. It's definitely opening the map up for the side of Bray, which is what they want. At the end of the day, they really want a team fight, as we talked about at the beginning. But we can see that the CS advantage for Hawkins is still sitting at about 35.
Yeah,
that's a significant advantage.
Yeah, certainly that farm lead is not to be understated, and when it comes to gold, I think that is something that's keeping Bray close in that regard, but it's also huge to have that on the Cassiopeia of all champions.
Yeah.
Obviously, not as many kills as the Swain, but certainly the Cassiopeia damage scales very nicely, and Bray have been dealing pretty well in the macro game with the disadvantages that they've been facing across the map and finding good opportunities to pressure that mid lane tower down, and it results in them opening that up, and the top lane tower as well is already pretty low.
Yeah, and I was actually going to say that, is that when we look at the turrets, even though they're 2-2, the top lane turret of Team 3 is very close to dying, whereas the mid lane and the bot lane turret of Bray are actually in a pretty good state. So in terms of objectives, actually Bray are sitting in a better position. They have more of an opportunity to open out, taking all outer turrets. And at the end of the day, objectives are what win the game, not kills. So it doesn't matter how many kills 3 are getting if they're not able to convert that into the objectives that they need to win. But 30 seconds until Drake. It'll be interesting to see who is able to go for that.
We see Rengus creep up towards that top side. Kevin Man has been pinged out. He isn't Ezreal, so he has quite a few ways to get himself away from Rengus, and he does use that arcane shift to create enough space between him and the Jax. They still are being wary of Rengus, whose impact on the game has been a little bit diminished after a great start, but Slippy might have found the pick here. Root Collar and Daisy coming out here. Rengus jumping on the backline, looking to see if he can finish off Raytex here, and they do manage to get the Karma first of all, as Jax is a terror, keeps on jump striking after everyone. Raytex flashing away, Cramp flashing over the wall though to follow him. Double kill for this Lucian. Yo zoning out the 2 members on the backside, flashing forward with the Demon Flare as well. Team 3 have all of the plays. Zoinkarino trying to trade one back, but the Swain sustain is too much, and Team 3 once again show they have what it takes to make the fight happen.
Great play coming out of Yo, knowing that he had to finish off Hawkins to open up the pressure so that they could go onto this Baron. They're going for Rengus turning around.
Yeah, Zoinkarino having to move away from that one. Kevin Man as well being zoned away by Daisy, trying to see if he can finish off a kill. Oh, Slippy is so low, has to watch out for the Mystic shots coming in. And Bray have done enough to force them off of the Baron, losing the fight, but making sure no major objectives fall in the hands of Team 3.
And once again, this is the problem. So they managed to secure a couple of kills. Really good play out of Yo, knowing that he has to flash in to finish off Hawkins to secure the Baron, but then they failed to secure the Baron. They failed to secure mid or bottom turret. So it's a situation, and now they've lost tier 2 on the bot lane of Team 3. So actually, objective-wise, Bray won that.
Somehow,
and now they're going for Baron.
Despite being killed in their own jungle, they managed to come out on top here. Yo, though, does manage to find Hawkins once again. Petrifying Gaze does not connect, and Crab opens up with the culling, forcing the flash out of this Cassiopeia here. Bray just seemingly not able to get anything going when it comes to these small skirmishes.
Bray's wave management has just been much better than Team 3's at the moment, because they're just not able. We can see in the top lane they have a big wave pushing into that top lane turret, so if no one moves over there to deal with that, that's going to go over to them. We can see bot lane is full, they haven't prepped that necessarily. They're going for the Drake, so that's going to be another objective going over to Team 3. That's a nice bonus, but are they going to rotate down and do something with this turret?
Oh, we actually see the Baron being started here by Team 3. There are a couple of members, or Bray, I should say, Team 3, a couple of members on hand to try stop them, but Sock Monster may find this in turn turned around onto him. Uses the Glacial Fissure though at a nice time, but the knockup does come in from Zoinkarino. They finally manage to take him down, and the tower goes down in the top lane as well, giving over the Mountain Drake, but Bray getting quite a nice bit of gold on the other side of the map.
Yeah, they are, and they're keeping everything within basically 1,000 gold. It's 800 now, goes up to 1,200. So not a huge amount, but again, they're just opening the map up more and more. And so it doesn't matter how many Drakes and kills that Team 3 have. They have 2 turrets to 4. And in my mind, Bray are winning, because they're controlling the tempo of the map, they're opening things up, and they're now starting to force these team fights by threatening Baron. They're forcing Team 3 to come to them, because if they don't, they'll take Baron.
If you were only watching the fights and the skirmishes in this game without any idea of the scoreboard, You would think that Team 3 would have the tower advantage, but they're actually facing a deficit. So far, seemingly a game of micro versus macro. Team 3 able to take the fights, but Bray using the map play to keep themselves very much in it. And as their champions scale up, Team 3 have to be wary. Obviously, they do have that trump card in the Jax, but even so, there's still a few things they will have to keep an eye on when it comes to these late game fights that Bray don't have access to right now. Rengus, he's just going under the tower and so much damage coming out. The ultimate is available for Zoinkarino, but Rengus does not care one iota, ignoring the minions, ignoring the tower.
That whole fight was under turret.
Kills that Shogat.
That whole fight was under turret. That must be so frustrating for Mu. The poor guy goes under his turret. Rengus jumps under the turret and just proceeds to kill him. It's the most frustrating thing, and this is why I've always hated playing against a Jax, because what do you do? Like, there's just nothing you can do there.
Nothing you can do there,
it's really
definitely.
It's such a frustrating champion to play against, so we'll have to see. But what do Bray do? Because no one's rotating down here.
This forces Bray to relieve pressure on that top side of the map. They have to deal with the Jax because he pressing forward towards that tier 2 tower. Zoinkarino just can't stand against them 1v1 in that lane. For the moment anyway, Rengus will be happy to go back to that split push. Doesn't have teleport, which is the one thing, but should be getting that back in a few seconds. That's the one thing. Bray, if they want to execute this macro style, if they want to move the members of Team 3 around the map, they still have to watch out for that potential 1v1, because Rengus just showed he's winning that 100% of the time. Raytech though looking to make a pick in the mid lane, trying to get Stock Monster here, but the Braum is able to get to safety, and not enough damage coming through here. Bray angling for the play, but not finding it.
No, but Cramp's use of his ultimate, it's very good at just like poking down and keeping Bray on their toes. And they're definitely trying to pressure. We can see finally Rengus rotating down, trying to do that wave management, pressuring, so that at the moment it's a 1-3-1. Could rotate down. Swain could come back down to the mid lane, making it a 4-1 split, but be interesting to see what is Rengus actually doing. Is he just going to focus on, because no one is in position to deal with him.
That is
a Bray a threatening Baron,
almost certainly a dead bot lane tower if he does want to stick to it. However, Bray going straight towards this Baron. Raytex isn't there yet, but they're able to get it down to half health. They have Cassiopeia, so the damage should be coming in pretty fast. However, Team 3 have all members there, maybe looking to make the fight happen here. The root comes in, and the damage from Rengus as he gets in on the backside. Hawkins and Kevaman, the first 2 casualties for Bray, and it is a complete disaster for them. I believe they managed to take away the Baron for themselves, but losing 3 means that Team 3 have a whole lot of time to push.
Bray did get the Baron, and it's Zoinkarino and Munchstealer survived, but so they still have Baron on 2. But desperation play, and whilst they were focused on the wards in the Baron pit, they were not aware of the ward in the top part of the river that Rengus TP'd to, came around the backside and just killed Hawkins before he could do anything.
Still a bit of time on these respawn timers for Bray, so Team 3 could turn this into an inhibitor as well as the tower goes down. Jax happy to hammer away with all of that attack speed, and inhibitor open in that mid lane. 3 towers and an inhibitor off the back of that Baron play. Zoinkarino though looking to see if he can find one on the way out. He's stunned up at the front though, and the CC coming in on this Shogat will slow him down for days. They do manage to take out Sock Monster, but the rest of Team 3 are peeling away, and I doubt that the Team 3 support is too stressed over the death he gave, considering what his team managed to take away.
Yeah, absolutely. If you need to sacrifice yourself as a support to let your team escape, it's kind of what you're meant to do. So it's definitely like well played from him. He bought enough time, they got away. We have a Drake coming up in about 45 seconds, but we can see Zoinkarino needs to push out this bottom wave, but 2 inhibitors remaining for Bray. A few minutes ago we were saying that Team 3 didn't have the objective control. They weren't winning the game via objectives, just via kills, but one ambitious play coming out of Bray around the Baron backfires massively and just opens up the whole map for Team 3.
Team 3 facing the biggest advantage that they have all game. The individual power of their champions that they're displaying all game long finally comes to bear as they catch out Bray on their first big macro mistake of this game. Now grouping up around this Dragon Pit. It's only an ocean for them, but they should take this with ease, and Bray likely not to cause them any hassle, so they can equalize that objective a little bit. Still, those Baron buffs available for Brave. They do manage to get the waves to a tower, but it is so risky for them to play aggressively because they are just not finding anything in team fights.
No, they're not. And, you know, like, it is just an ocean rank, so it's not massive, but I wouldn't want to give 2 oceans over to side of Bray. It just gives their poke power for their bot lane a little bit more sustained and enables them to just do a little bit more consistent damage. It's not something you want to face as Team 3. I think Bray's biggest issue right now is they drafted a team fight comp. They've drafted a good team fight comp. Their mid lane is winning, their top lane is behind, but their bot lane was keeping up and even, and so they're not too far behind. But if they're not able to kill Rengus, he just does so much damage, and so when it comes down to the team fight, if he gets a flank and he's able to secure Hawkins or Keverman, it's basically game over for Bray. Everything is on Rengus, as we talked about.
Zoinkarino looking to make a play here. Rengus, though, happy to trade the damage back. Dodges out of the rupture here, but 4 members collapsing on the Jax here. He's able to leap strike out of the Karma route, though.
Bullshit. I'll take that fine.
Okay.
Hate this champion. It is. I was bringing flashbacks of solo queue, especially when I first started playing as old school Gangplank. Jax was a hard counter and a very unpleasant one. Giving myself PTSD of season 2 or season
Rengus
3.
Triggering poor Nikita here as he has to watch him just wreak havoc in that bottom lane and get away with it in that case as well, which is probably the more frustrating part. But
mentally, it's just like I'm joking here at the same time. Like, I'm not joking about my PTSD about Jax. I'm being very serious about that. But it is mentally, it is so frustrating, and it's hard to deal with that when you're playing like Mu and you're playing. Technically, you're doing the correct moves. You're pushing your lane out a little bit. You're not going past river. You're retreating to the tower. You're playing it very safe. You're doing what you should be doing, and yet the opponent is still just killing you, regardless of what you're doing, and that can be so demoralizing, and it can be so defeating, and that can bleed into the rest of the team if they don't have the answer, because you're just sitting there asking yourself, how do we deal with this? What do we do? And that you need a strong mental game, and you need a strong in-game leader to say, look, as if we team fight and we focus on him, we can win it. If he's removed from the game, that is how we deal with it. But it's hard sometimes to communicate that, and I hope Bray do have the mental fortitude to be able to stay in the game and not lose focus.
And we'll see if there is a comeback on the cards for Bray Wanderers. Split between the side lanes for this team. Rengus, the one-man army in that top side, but Bray know that there's something coming. However, they are going to pull the trigger on the collapse onto this Jax. We saw Rengus manage to get himself to safety before, flashing over the wall here, but Zoinkarino still following. Oh, he gets stuck by the Trundle Pillar! Oh no, the worst issue of creep block, because he would have caught that Jax had that not been there. However, not able to catch up with him, and we do see the bot lane inhibitor now being focused down. They're going to jump in on this Trundle, and Raytex goes down for the 6th time this game, looking for the inhibitor as well here. Team 3 beginning to deconstruct this base of Bray.
Some synergy issues perhaps coming out of the side of Bray with this new jungler. I mean, so heartbreaking to see that flash fail because of the Trundle Pillar. So close.
It was...
but 2 inhibs down now for Team 3. Definitely looks like this is going to be it. They don't have an answer.
Team 3, how do you stop them? How do you stop this Jax at this point? They're just sticking around in the base. They have retaken the mid lane inhibitor here. Sockmonster pulled back in, or jumping back in, I should say, and may have to be careful here, but the CC on the way out is going to slow them down. However, they do manage to get to him. Should be able to finish off a kill onto the Braum. Picking him off with Baron less than 30 seconds on the clock might give Bray just a little bit of space to get some vision down.
Yeah, and you know, earlier we were praising the fact that he bought time for his team to kind of disengage, but this time it wasn't the case. It was just poor positioning, I think, too eager, and they need to be careful about that, because Bray, whilst they're 5k behind, are still strong enough that if given an opportunity, they can rush down Baron, and we see that is what they're looking to do right now.
They do have all members in the pit. Rengus, though, happy to push that mid lane tower down. They have to watch out for this Jax getting to the Nexus. Cramp, though, looking to deal with them in the pit. Teleport, once again, is available for Rengus if he does want to make his way up to a fight here. But it might just be a case of Team 3 looking to stop the recalls. And Hawkins is already taken down. Ivern getting the kill. However, the fight is going to be retaken by Bray here as they try to burst down the backline members. They have to watch their base, though. They do get the shutdown onto Yo, but Rengus takes out the first Nexus tower. Cramp being ignited. He does go down. Recalls need to come in here, though. The second Nexus tower goes down, and Rengus is going to do it. He says, forget the team fights, forget the Baron, I am just going for the throne, and he secures the win for Team 3.
What a backdoor. Just knowing the speed at which he can take down the turrets and go and take down the Nexus, and trusting in his team to be able to occupy Bray long enough for them to be able to win it. And yeah, Team 3 take the win.
Yeah, finally managing to secure another win here. Rengus, the big performance. We haven't seen that out of him for a while, but as soon as he gets the advantage in the top lane and there's no one to back him up, he just takes over.
Absolutely, and Jax was not a champion we'd seen him play so far. He'd been defaulting to the Malphite when he'd been banned out, the Fiora taken away, the Camille taken away from him. So he goes to the Jax, and now it's becoming a question like, okay, do other teams need to look at this? Are St. Pat's looking at this and going, okay, we need to target him with 5 bans, and we need to first pick, because they thought he would probably, in my mind, they probably thought he'd go for the Malphite. That's why they first picked the Trundle to take those stats away. Cho'Gath into Malphite's a good match, but no, he goes for this Jax and just takes over, and he's such a force. And Yo on the Swain in mid lane, while he wasn't winning his lane, again, he was just doing what he had to do, which was be an annoying off-tank, damage-dealing frontliner. And he did it so well, playing that edge that we've seen Dano previously play. And it was incredibly frustrating, I can imagine, on the side of Bray to play up against that. They must be very disappointed.
Yeah, certainly. They had a good start in terms of the macro game. They were moving around the map pretty nicely and defensively, considering that they weren't able to take much fights, as was expected. But they just never were able to take any fights at all, even when their champions started getting stronger, and it gave too much over. And we talked about the Jax being a big win condition for Team 3, and when Rengus gets a start like that, he can just run over them. And Bray just seemingly not being able to find those big fights, which would have been what we suspected the answer.
I think the best fight was really around the mid lane, where they traded even. Jax went down very early, and then they went for they got 3 kills. But then Cramp was able to turn around and get another 2 kills to himself. The play for Baron is really where things turned around. It was, I wouldn't say desperation play, I understood it. It was a win condition. They were pressuring it and looking to kind of secure it. And if they had, I think it would have tilted the game in Bray's favor, but 3 played it so well, and they had that ward just above them, managed to get the flank in, and that was really all she wrote.
Yeah, certainly. Fantastic performance there from Team 3. Now on 6-2. I believe that guarantees them a playoff tiebreak at the very least. They should be good for playoffs, depending on how other results go. Important win for them. So we're likely to be seeing Team 3 at the 3 arena. After the questions raised about this team, this has to be a huge confidence booster.
Absolutely, especially going into the final match on Thursday. So we're going to jump over to Holly, who's with the team captains at the moment.
Nikita, thank you so much. That really was an intense game. We knew it was going to be. You think back to weeks 1, 2 and 3. Bray and 3 were definitely 2 of the favourites. We almost guaranteed that we thought they'd be in the playoffs. And now 3. What a comeback after a few weeks there where they'd sort of disappeared down the running order, down the pecking order, and they are making a comeback. Just an incredibly tense game as well, right from the get-go too. We're going to be speaking to Adam. Adam, if you want to join me as well as the captain of Bray, commiserations to you, and Sean from 3 if you want to join me as well. We're going to be breaking down that game, finding out where it went right and where it went wrong. Just join us after the break.
Video games are the latest craze to sweep the...
Once, gaming was a simple pursuit. Groundbreaking. Yet limited.
Video fever. The games people play.
And then, it evolved.
This is the next generation of video games, but these...
And so too did the gamer.
Professional, competitive video gaming.
You see, the thing about evolution,
this is what kids are doing. This is what people want to see.
it never ends.
I wanted you to know that I am ready to go. Heartbeat, my heartbeat.
Now, we're here. On the Vegas Strip.
Is he going to connect it? He's going to stay close to Jake. Oh! Your champion, Ghost Gaming.
Las Vegas Daddy is going to be there.
Big upset.
Anyone can play. Are you ready? Ready?
This is the biggest challenge of their lives.
This is the fastest growing spectator sport in the world.
They seriously don't understand how good I am at this game, and we are going to win this.
Hi, I'm Liam from 3 Ireland's EStars.
Hi, I'm Tim from Peak.
And we're here to launch 3 Ireland's EStars merchandise.
Designed by Peak.
Cut.
Yeah, you're allowed to come off now, mate. Okay. There you go.
Three Ireland's EStars is an amateur gaming competition in which we will give the opportunity to an amateur gamer to become Ireland's next EStar. We've partnered with the clubs across the League of Ireland, so there already is a rivalry there on a competition. We're dipping into that rivalry and we're taking it to the gaming scene. Peak is a very similar brand to ourselves, what Tim Crew's trying to do and break into the markets, and similar to us, we're looking to break into a new market as well. I think there's a great synergy there between ourselves and Peak.
It's a really exciting partnership. It's such a new business. I think it's amazing to give anybody an opportunity to be able to go on a big stage in front of thousands and thousands of people, and the final is going to be immense.
Welcome back to 3 Ireland's EStars. Now I'm joined by the captains of our last game. We're joined by Adam from Bray. Oh, what a game for you though, Sean. And we'll speak to you in just a moment for the captain of 3 as well. First of all, Adam, it's been a really tough couple of weeks for Bray. I mean, how are you feeling right now?
Not great. Well, I think I'll keep it at that.
There was some words just during the ads there we heard from you. I mean, you're clearly devastated by that result. You really needed that win this week.
Yeah, we did need this win, so there's unless there's some crazy tiebreaker situation where St. Pat's lose both of their next games, we can't get playoffs. So yeah, it's pretty much over.
For you, I feel like it just came down to the fact you just couldn't all stay on the same page over the past few weeks. Is there a problem with consistency? I mean, can you pinpoint where the problem lies?
Well, we did have to replace a player, so that was not fun. Obviously, it wasn't our fault, but happens, and we just didn't have the synergy.
And in that game in particular, I mean, the changing point, who made the call for Baron?
At what time was this? I think Kev was calling the Barons, so Kev Amman was calling Barons.
And did that make a difference to the game, you felt?
Yeah, I mean, like, some of our plays were good. It's just like we gave up a load of stuff for free for no reason, and they just won because they're the better team.
Looking ahead now, I mean, it really is for Pride unless some results go completely your way. You're still up for it, though. You're going to be back at DCU later in the week, playing for Pride, looking for victories, and come back with the Adam, the Moo that we love and know.
Yeah, of course. Next Thursday, I'll be trash talking everyone But for now, I'm bad and everyone else is good.
But, there's just a smidgen of Adam still there. I can still hear a little bit of moo coming through. We're still going to have you back, though. Sean, you in particular had an incredible game. 3 in general, you've had not the best few weeks. I feel a comeback on the horizon. Definitely looking for that playoff place.
Yeah, I agree. Comeback is definitely coming. We're back on form for the most part. We are losing those 2 games. I'd say helped us a lot, identifying issues. Like we were on a 4-win streak, and it's difficult to learn from wins. But those 2 losses, we looked at things differently and identified what we want to get done, and this game has showed. I wanted to play with a certain strategy where I had the most freedom, and it paid off immensely.
I mean, that for you, from a personal point of view, just a brilliant performance. Are you hoping for MVP? Do you think you've done enough?
I think so. Yeah, I'd really be surprised if I didn't get it, honestly. I'm sure everyone else would.
Looking ahead now, Sean, I mean, you must be getting excited about that grand final at the 3 Arena. Definitely in contention now, 3.
Yeah, definitely. Next week, be fairly standard game. I'd consider Pats middle of the table, maybe a bit up there, but definitely we're not going to lose to them.
What are you going to be saying to your team now? Like I say, we're into the final stretch of this tournament, the biggest competition like this that Ireland has ever seen. The stakes are so high. What will be the message? What will you be doing over the next few days?
Well, just preparing, really. Teams are going to have a very tough time against us. I've shown that, I've always had a very strong champion pool, and teams can make a lot of mistakes when identifying what to ban. So, yeah, I think teams are going to have a tough time playing into us. Cramp as well. A ban or 2 needs to be sent towards him. So if they make one mistake, leave one champion open, then I can just take over the game.
That's what it all comes down to now, really, doesn't it? Just somebody making mistakes. We know you're all good. You're some of the best gamers in this country. You'll be watching some of the other teams very carefully now. Who in particular?
Probably Shamrock Rovers, definitely. They're going to get into the finals. I think that's pretty well understood. Other teams, Dundalk, Sligo, they've all improved quite a lot. They didn't have the best start off, but now they've kind of fixed up some of their issues. Sligo especially, they're putting in a lot of time. They're a very strong team. That's about it, to be honest.
How do you feel the competition has developed over the last 8 weeks? We've just seen people really improve their game, really improve tactics, working together as a team. And the tournament itself has just come so far in such a short space of time, hasn't it?
Yeah, I agree. From the first week, it was possible to sell other than rosters on paper what teams were good, but it showed that some players that you'd expect to be good didn't perform. Maybe they lack the communication skills, and then other teams that you wouldn't really expect to be good turn out to be great. So from now on, we know the top 4 at least, like Shamrock, Sligo, and maybe the next 2 depend on these upcoming games. But it started off, people didn't have great communication skills. Some people didn't play competitive at all. I've been playing competitive for a couple of years, so I was able to take the lead in shot calling. But these skills have developed greatly for some of the players, and it just shows, especially with the maybe weaker players. They're learning so much from players better than them or more experienced, and that really, really helps to improve.
And that's something you'll need to remember looking ahead to the rest of this week. We've never had games back-to-back as quickly like this. It's about keeping that momentum going. Do you think that 3 will manage that?
Yeah, winning 2 games in a row after 2 rough losses, honestly, they weren't that close. It feels good. I feel great right now, and I don't intend to stop.
Well, congratulations, Sean. A fantastic game from you. And Adam, again, commiserations. It really is tough taking that type of defeat in these conditions, especially when the stakes are so high and we're getting so close to that final at the 3 Arena on May 13th. For now, I think it's time for some 4-star pizza, some Lucozade, guys. What do you think? We'll be back after the break.
Video games are the latest craze to sweep the...
Once, gaming was a simple pursuit. Groundbreaking, yet limited.
Video fever. The games people play.
And then, it evolved.
This is the next generation of video games, but these...
And so too did the gamer.
Professional, competitive video gaming.
You see, The thing about evolution,
This is what kids are doing. This is what people want to see.
it never ends.
I wanted you to know that I am ready to go. Heartbeat, my heartbeat.
Now, we're here. On the Vegas Strip.
Is it going to connect? Is it stay close to Jake? Oh! Your champion, Ghost Gaming! Las Vegas Daddy is going to be there.
Anyone can play. Are you ready? Ready?
This is the biggest challenge of their lives.
This is the fastest growing spectator sport in the world.
They seriously don't understand how good I am at this game, and we are going to win this.
Hi, I'm Liam from 3 Ireland's EStars.
Hi, I'm Tim from Peak.
And we're here to launch 3 Ireland's EStars merchandise.
Designed by Peak.
Cut.
Yeah, you're allowed to come off now, mate. Okay. There you go.
Three Ireland's EStars is an amateur gaming competition in which we will give the opportunity to an amateur gamer to become Ireland's next EStar. We've partnered with the clubs across the League of Ireland, so there already is a rivalry there on a competition. We're dipping into that rivalry and we're taking it to the gaming scene. Peak is a very similar brand to ourselves, what Tim Crew's trying to do and break into the markets, and similar to us, we're looking to break into a new market as well. I think there's a great synergy there between ourselves and Peak.
It's a really exciting partnership. It's such a new business. I think it's amazing to give anybody an opportunity to be able to go on a big stage in front of thousands and thousands of people, and the final is going to be immense.
This is the biggest challenge of their lives.
This is the fastest growing spectator sport in the world.
They seriously don't understand how good I am at this game, and we are going to win this.
let's see the big arena area. See what that looks like.
Sounds good. What? Wait.
Oh my goodness. Dude, this looks so sick.
It's amazing. That's really nice.
Wow. You gonna walk on the stage?
What is that, a turntable? No, I'm not gonna touch it. I'm not gonna touch it.
This is so sick.
Can't get anything at the bar.
Hello there, buddy.
Oh, shut up.
Hello and welcome back to 3 Ireland's EStars here from DCU, and what a game we have in store for you next. Weeks ago, we've been talking about both Shamrock Rovers and St. Pat's as two of the favourites. Tonight, they go head to head. Now, both of them are currently occupying a playoff place, which they will see them in the semi-finals at the grand final at the 3 Arena in Dublin on the 13th of May. But tonight, could we see just a little taster of what's to come? Two of the best teams we've seen. They've just got better and better as the weeks progressed. I mean, without any minor slip-ups, we could definitely be seeing them in Dublin at the 3 Arena. Well, let's get a bit more from our casters now. Nikita and David. Nikita, obviously these are two of the top teams. It's going to be a tight game. What can we expect from these two?
I mean, St. Pat's definitely going to, this is do or die for them a little bit. They have a tough matchup next week as well. So this is really their opportunity to prove that they deserve to be in the top 4 and make the playoffs.
And in terms of Shamrock Rovers, we've seen some really impressive individual performances, the likes of Zoinkers, for example. Who should we be looking forward to tonight?
Yes, certainly. I think Zoinkers once again could be a big factor. Actually, this mid lane matchup, I think, against CPROM is going to be absolutely huge. I think two of the top in the position throughout the competition here. As well as that, I think Razor in the jungle is another big standout player for Shamrock Rovers so far, especially in their recent run of form, has been stepping up huge for this team. And the two of them have been doing the lion's share of the work, I think, for Rovers.
And with Shamrock Rovers, last week we were talking about almost certainly seeing them in the playoffs. But, I mean, the big question is tonight, can they be toppled, and are St. Pat's the team to do it?
I think they can be. The thing is, though, the week before, I thought Shamrocks played a little bit shaky, but last week they played such a clean game. It was really just stand-up performance from the whole team, and especially from Dana Zoinkers in the mid lane. So it's definitely going to be tough. But if St. Pat's want to make top 4, if they want to make playoffs, and if they want to win the whole tournament, they've got to go through the best. So,
what it all comes down to, certainly at this stage, it's just about avoiding those silly mistakes. That's what could cause them a world of pain. We were just discussing that with the captain of 3, Sean, earlier on. What will they be avoiding, and is there a safe way to avoid making those types of mistakes?
Well, the issue is, I think, for St. Pat's in a lot of their games is that they have these great starts. They can get themselves rolling early, but sometimes they just miss the mark beyond that point and fail to capitalize on their leads. Shamrock Rovers, very intelligent team, will know that going in and certainly have ways to counter that and take advantage of those mistakes. So looking for St. Pat's, if they are to have a good chance in this fixture, to just work on their later stage play.
And one thing we were just discussing with Sean as well from 3 is the fact that some of these teams who have been working together over the past few weeks have just improved hugely. Some of them have never played competitively before. Are we noticing that sort of improvement with these teams?
Yeah, massively. I think we've seen quite a few teams just kind of step up and from the start. I mean, obviously we've seen Team 3 slump down but come back. Sligo have been doing better and better. I think Shamrocks are the easy one, where they lost the first game in week 1 but have been on a win streak ever since. So there's a number of teams, and it's just been so close throughout the whole tournament. Consistency is what matters. I think minimizing mistakes and playing to your strengths.
How hard is it at this stage of the competition? It is getting so tense now. We're into the final couple of weeks. The likes of Bray, who just lost, and we saw Adam, how devastated he was. Moo did not take that well. I've never seen him so miserable. He's usually one of our happiest, most upbeat captains. I think we may have ended him. I mean, how difficult it is and how tense it gets at this stage of the competition to try to perform to the best of your abilities under that sort of pressure.
It will really show, I think, who kind of has that winner's mentality. The games now, all of them, especially when it comes to these big playoff matches, they are so important, and just holding your nerve is absolutely crucial for all of these teams. And like I said, we'll see which of these players are capable of doing so, and which may not be up to snuff when it comes to just keeping the mentality good in these high pressure games.
Yeah.
And in terms of how you do that, it's sort of easier said than done, isn't it? And I was asking Sean there, what do they do in between games? What will they do for the next few days before we're right back here at DCU on Thursday? Is it about practice? Is it about stepping away from the computer screen, just trying to give yourself a bit of time to kind of take in just how much pressure there is in this sort of situation? What would you advise?
I think each player needs to kind of learn for themselves. Some of them, it's very much about like focusing and just dialing in and being in the zone. Some of them, it is stepping away and having a little bit of a break and a refresh. I think it's just about also understanding that every match matters, but that also means none of the matches matter more than any other. Whether you're playing Limerick or whether you're playing Sligo, a win's a win and a loss is a loss. So you just need to play your game, do what you need to do, and stay in your own mindset rather than allowing others to impact yours.
Okay, guys, well, let's talk about the game up ahead of us just now. Shamrock Rovers, St. Pat's. Can I ask you for a prediction? Is it too soon to say that? But what would you expect from this game, and who would you put your money on?
I think that's a pretty easy answer, considering who's at the top of the leaderboards and has been on a win streak since week 2. So definitely St. Pat's.
Yeah. Nikita throwing in the curveball there. I mean, I think St. Pat's do have a good chance. I think they match up pretty well. They have a mid laner who can deal with Zoinkers, I think, quite efficiently.
Some people say that C-Prom is actually best player in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, that's low-key, I think. Obviously, St. Pat's maybe haven't had the same chance to shine, but it's certainly, I think, that is... they have the capabilities to limit the strengths of Shamrock Rovers, but I still think just because of the form that Rovers are in right now that they do come in as the favourites here.
And in terms of the team picking, I think it's happening just now. I mean, where can they go from here, and what advice do you give them in terms of tactics, in terms of who should they be looking for in this game?
It's an interesting one. I think that over the last couple of weeks, Shamrock Rovers have shown quite a bit of diversity, but there's a few things that you cannot let them take. Like that Swain in the mid lane is one. They seem to perform pretty well around things for like the Kog'Maw for Adzi, if they want to look towards that. On the side of St. Pat's, they tend to see a lot of bans away from C-Prom. So I think both these teams are just going to be focusing at the star players here and looking to take away their most comfortable champions just to limit the carry impact from them.
But we've seen, the thing is like we've seen just now, Team 3, so many bans targeted towards Rengus, and he was able to reach in deeper, and they were able to craft an unusual team comp, but that executed the same way, which was to allow Rengus to get ahead. Mid laner did what they needed to do, jungle supported that, and so on. So I think you can do that, but I think enough talk from us now about this, but we're going to jump into picks and bans.
And we have the first few bans coming out here. Galio and Evelyn taken away from Shamrock Rovers. We do see a little bit of focus towards Zoinkers in the mid lane, but also making sure that Razor's best champion is kept away from him. On the other side, Caitlyn, Talia, two ones that are maybe more standard given the current meta. Kai'Sa as well, a good AD carry ban here as we see that pool being thinned out a little bit.
Yeah, and we saw Kai'Sa last week. Kevin Mann was playing it, and it had a bit of a rough start, but started to really come online, and we could see the damage it was putting out. So, can be extremely deadly, and so far today has been banned out completely.
And certainly one of the premier AD carry champions right now. We do see the Swain ban actually from Shamrock Rovers. Knowing that St. Pat's could first pick that, despite Zoinkers being amazing on it, they realize that it's a strong pick in general, so they will take that one away. I think these are more mid lane champions that you would normally see be available for both of these mid laners, given how often they are focused. But St. Pat's starting it off with the Cho'Gath pick here to open up.
I mean, it's a good top lane pick, despite what we saw in the first game. It's stable, but it's not a first pick worthy pick, I would say.
That's the problem I have with it.
It's not a bad pick by any means. I think he's sitting nicely, but why you could take an Ornn, you could take a Malphite. There's so many.
I think even it's just a little bit safer to go towards something like a jungler or a support. Maybe it's something that's a little bit more difficult to counter. In any case, Shamrock Rovers have the opportunity to draft Xayah Rakan right now, which is still a bot lane that can have a huge impact on a game. I'm still a little curious as to the St. Patrick's putting that priority on the top lane here. Not choosing to go for that support yet. They're locking in the Trundle. They could potentially leave that Rakan pick till later as well. I really like these first two picks from Shamrock Rovers.
Yeah, it is. It's a really good kind of pick ban, because at the end of the day, they don't have to pick Rakan, because Rakan it's not really chosen by himself. His strength comes via the Xayah combo, so they can leave it up and either force it out as a ban or just leave it for a later pick.
I saw the Ryze being hovered there, but they actually swapped back to the Elise. Another champion that isn't too high in priority, but St. Pat's feeling the need to pick it up for themselves early. In any case, they want to get their jungle locked in to match Shamrock Rovers. But once again, not a pick that maybe we would be seeing too high up the jungler tier list. I want to see what they match it with, though. Are they going to follow the AD carry pick? They are going to go for the Ryze. I do like this adaptation. It allows them to control that mid lane matchup just a little bit more if Shamrock don't respond.
Yeah, so Ryze is the first pick that we've seen that actually makes sense. First rotation, Ryze pick definitely makes sense. Elise, again, a bit unusual, but maybe they are defaulting to those comfort picks. They know the Cho'Gath in the top lane. They know the Elise in the jungle. They're not the unusual kind of defaulting comfort picks that I would have expected.
Oh,
but nonetheless,
wow. Okay.
Yasuo.
Another Yasuo being locked in. It's not Cork City's mid laner. We saw him.
Dano.
But Dano.
Dano got an MVP, team MVP last week. Very nearly got MVP as well. Yeah, I mean, I assume this is the mid lane.
I'd hope so.
Yeah,
I want to see Dano play the Yasuo.
Ryze into Yasuo. That's definitely going to be an intense, but huge potential for him to hard carry.
In any case, it should allow St. Patrick's to ban the Rakan if they do not want Shamrock Rovers to go with that pick, which is why I like the mid lane lock-in adaptation here. This mid lane matchup was actually just going to be so spicy. I can't wait to see what it goes down. But Shamrock Rovers, good opportunity for them to deny AD carries. I could see another one come out here if they want to make museums even more uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. So the Rakan ban has come out, and it's a good reaction to Shamrock Rovers draft so far, but it's also, is it a ban that they wanted to have? Because maybe Shamrock's never even wanted to play Rakan. They wanted to play
potentially.
Xayah
can do pretty well on her own.
Exactly. So it's a nice kind of the way they force the hand of St. Pat's and forcing one of their bans.
I think the Rakan as well, combined with that Yasuo, could be even more devastating. Tahm Kench going to be the last ban here, so a lot of focus towards Dr. Yeti at that support position, which should allow the St. Patrick's duo to keep maybe Shamrock Rovers a little bit down. However, Full Auto Tank will have the pick of the litter when it comes to countering that Cho'Gath in that 1 versus 1. We'll see what he goes with. Looking like it's going to be the Ornn. Potentially another big knock-up that Dano can make use of.
I mean, the Ornn is just, and this is why I question the first picking of the Cho'Gath, but I am someone who definitely believes that you don't always have to play the meta, and if you feel very comfortable on that champion, it is more important to feel good on the champion than to go for what is supposedly the best choice. And I would hope that St. Pat's have gone for the Cho'Gath and the Elise for that reason, that they just feel so comfortable on those champions that they're able to overcome their supposed deficits.
Yeah.
But when the reaction is Ornn and so on, it's no disadvantage to Shamrocks that they gave up the Cho'Gath, because they've taken a champion who again is very good, stable in lane, able to hold his own against the Cho'Gath, and a good team fighter.
And certainly now just waiting on the support pick here for St. Patrick's. They will have priority, so Shamrock Rovers will be able to find an answer, and it's looking like it might be the Karma. We saw this lane last game, and it worked out pretty nicely. There was a lot of poke coming out from Bray's duo lane when they had those two champions here. St. Patrick's may be hoping for a similar effect.
Yeah, it was a really good lane, very poke dominant, very aggressive, or kind of annoying lane to deal with. Can do a lot of damage, especially coming out the Karma. And I think actually partnered with an Elise and a potential Ryze ultimate can be extremely annoying, because the Elise can obviously juggle tower aggro, so they could poke them, tower dive very easily. Ryze can come in bot lane very.
Hang on Wait a second.
Support Kennen?
Is it support Kennen?
I mean, if there's a time to try something unusual, it's now.
That
they are
would
comfortably at the top of the leaderboards, but
oh, maybe it's support Ornn. Actually, it could be the Ornn flex towards support. And it is. Never mind.
Never mind. Our dreams have been shattered. Kennen is not Kennen. Kennen is a Janna. So it is a Xayah Janna bot lane.
Man, I was excited for that Ornn support. I was excited for the Kennen top lane as well.
No, I was excited about Kennen's support because obviously we've seen Kennen ADC and it can be incredibly frustrating. So this is a troll thing I've done before, but a Kennen support just with kind of just constant poking damage, and then his CC that's inbuilt into his kit can be so frustrating to deal with. Yeah, okay, but it's not gonna happen. It's Janna.
Yeah, so, we go towards something a lot more standard. A lot more defensive. It is the Janna coming out, so it will be Janna Xayah against that Ezreal Karma. It does allow them just a little bit more defense, I think, when it comes to that lane. So
and I think they're aware of the tower diving potential of the Elise, and as I was saying, Ryze can rotate around so quickly. I don't mind the Elise pick, actually. I think it could work quite well. It's just something that has to be, if they're going to bring it out so early, they need to make it work.
Yeah, certainly. It also adds another knock-up for that last breath, so it can help out Zoinkers with the ultimate, the Janna pick.
Oh yes, sorry, I think about the Elise pick. I was a little bit.
I was still on that Janna train of thought. I was so hyped.
So what's that
so
mean
hyper
about
Kennen.
You're thinking here, I'm thinking here. It's like
it's we're getting the
Janna pick is definitely a nice, and it's a great disengage tool. So obviously, if Dano goes in too deep, it gives him an opportunity. Janna does hopefully give him the chance to get back out.
Also can buff up the Yasuo with the Ardent Sensor. There's a lot of things. Very AD heavy comp coming out of Shamrock Rovers here. As we have a look at the new bar out here in DCU.
See Kevin there on the side there. Meme Lord. Best memes in the whole group.
He's pretty flattered by it, but yeah, guys, if you are around the nearby area, make sure you come on down. Be here for this game and the last game of the day, which I believe is Sligo against Cork.
Yep,
that should be another good one afterwards. So if you are close by, come on down. These are always great. We'll also be back on Thursday as well here. So
we are, So it's easy. Come down, have beers, hang out with the players, hang out with us in between breaks. There we go. Comfort the players who lose.
Poor Moo.
He really looks
he needs it.
It's always one of those things. It's tough, but it also shows that you really want to win. And there is always next week. I don't think, like you said, I don't think they're completely out of the running for playoffs, but their fate is slightly out of their control at this point.
So I think we're going to have a quick look at the standings here in the 3 Ireland's EStars right now. We can see Shamrock Rovers and St. Pat's, two teams that are coming up on stream, both in the top 4. And
so Team 3 has obviously already played one match, so that's why they have the win. But we did have the 3-way tie for second place between St. Pat's, Team 3, St. Pat's and Sligo. Dundalk right behind them. A lot of people were telling me, I was talking to Moo over the weekend. He was saying that he expected them to be one of the best teams in the whole tournament. And they just haven't performed, but they're just on the outside of that top 4. If they are able to win the matches today and next on Thursday, that could get them in.
Certainly Dundalk with that game against, I believe it is Derry? No, is it Limerick?
I think so.
I think it might be Limerick they're against later. They do have Sligo on Thursday, which is going to be that matchup of the week. That one is going to
be huge.
So important for
both
the playoff standings. Exactly, yes.
Because they're one win apart or one loss apart. So at the moment, so obviously whatever happens today is going to have a huge impact on Thursday. And Thursday it's going to be the final games, and it's going to define who is going to go into top 4 in playoffs.
Exactly. Very, very important day coming up on Thursday. But you can't overlook the matches that we have here today, especially, as we said, Shamrock Rovers currently in first place. St. Pat's tied for 3rd technically. And they have an opportunity to force a huge tie at the top of the table if they manage to take a victory here in this one. But they are coming in as that underdog. it's gonna be tough for them against a team who have been playing so well recently, like Shamrock Rovers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But they are good enough to be able to win it. Like, they are tied for, well, they were just tied for second place until 3 got the win. They're now tied for third. They're 1 win behind. It's so close that if there is a team, this is a team that can take the win.
Yeah, this certainly.
So it'll be really exciting to see, especially with their mid laner CPROM.
This is, I think, especially for CPROM, who hasn't received the accolades that Zoinkers has on the other side of the rift. Zoinkers certainly an MVP candidate for the entire competition so far.
Yeah.
CPROM, meanwhile, has been a lot quieter, but it's still, many would talk about him as one of the premier mid laners in the competition. Now up against one of the best players we've been seeing so far. Is a great chance for him to show his stuff, and I think this is certainly the key matchup here. Up against Rise against Yasuo as well.
I know, yeah, it's a Rise against Yasuo. It's a skill matchup. It's just going to be, I think it's going to be action-packed. I'm really excited to see it because both of them, I think, are good enough to be able to play those champions to their limits. They know what the win conditions are, and I think they'll work towards them. Interesting kind of aside. I really like that you mentioned Dano Zoinkers could be tournament MVP, and I think that's very true. But it comes down to, so this is the question I ask you: what is MVP to you?
What is
like? What is the category?
We've discussed this before a couple of weeks when it comes down to who gets the weekly MVPs. For me, I think it's tough to say, but I think the best way to put it is that what happens when you remove that player from the team. And you put in maybe just someone who's a tier down potentially.
Okay.
How does their performance in that particular game reduce their ability to win? So, for example, Rengaso, I think, had a fantastic performance earlier.
Absolutely.
You replace him with someone who's slightly worse on the Jax, and I think that it becomes a lot more difficult.
But I think it's you change the player and the type of player, and it can affect the team. You know, like, and it is like, so. This is the question, and like for the viewers, it's very much of, sometimes people say MVP is just the best player, but now it's very easy to highlight the best player on the best team, and that player might have been still the best player, but not been as visible on a worse team.
Yeah.
Whereas. Or is it the best player for a team? So is there a team that actually, should we say, isn't good, but because of this one player is like kind of dragged up to the upper echelons? And that becomes, I think that is like the discussion that I'm bringing up, and I think it's very interesting because you do, like you say, Rengas last match was, to me, clearly kind of the MVP of that match, because if he wasn't doing what he was doing. And yes, but this is not to disregard League as a team game, and Rengas was able to do what he needed to do because the rest of the team enabled him. I think it's never about taking away from the other players and the teammates, but I think Rengas very much was the driving force behind that victory.
Yeah, certainly he was a huge factor in that Team 3-1, and I think another player who could be considered as one of the tournament MVPs has struggled the last few weeks, but even then he draws so much attention that
just saw a guy do a 360 on a bicycle.
Yep,
that's quite cool.
Welcome to DCU.
There we go.
Yeah, but I think certainly he's another player who I think I'd look at as one of the standout performers in the competition as a whole. Will be exciting to see, as obviously both these teams are ones that we will be expecting to make it to those playoffs. And I'm excited to see who manages to maybe get the best of that if the two teams do come face to face again.
Yeah, I think it's really exciting. There's so many matchups that I'd be really interested to look at over the course of a best of 3, but we'll be jumping into the game.
Yeah, this is the biggest challenge of their lives.
This is the fastest growing spectator sport in the world.
They seriously don't understand how good I am at this game, and we are going to win this.
And here we are, St. Patrick's against Shamrock. I want to say Team 3. Who is going to get the chicken dinner? Well, the 4-star pizza, rather.
The 4-star pizza, exactly.
We don't have Connor here, but you know, I can do my best to slip those things in.
To fill in.
Who is going to get that victory 4-star pizza and drown their sorrows in some Lucozade energy, like probably Paul Moo is doing right now.
Yeah, that's Not quite as good as Connor, I'm afraid. We do actually see Shamrock Rovers with a pretty funky start. They have members camped out towards that blue side, and Full Auto and Tank and Razor going to see if they can force them away, with Zoinkers providing some backup here. Just a nice bit of early disruption. Mind games potentially against St. Pat's to slow them down a little bit. Chips away at just a small bit of Dark Steelion's health as well, which will not work too much in his favor. Not getting anything crazy out of it here, but you know,
yeah,
disruption.
I was going to say, I don't think Shamrocks have a better level 1. If they really go for it, but I mean, Witzel and Museums weren't in a position to kind of support that. But if they were to go for a 5-on-5 level 1, I'd give it to St. Pat's. But we'll have to. Nothing too major happening. Junglers look to be doing fairly standard clears. It's been a while since I've seen an Elise clear. I'd imagine it's the same as before, not too fast, not too slow.
Certainly, you would imagine that the Elise will be, as Elise always does when she comes into the meta, very focused on the early game. You want to be making plays. You can see actually Zoinkers paying respect to the potential of the pick and taking that cleanse to deny the cocoon if it does come in and just keep himself extra safe. So I like that adaptation here. Should limit Dark Steelion, but certainly I know it's a pick that he does favor even when it does fall out of the meta, and while maybe we weren't expecting it here, he'll be hoping to show us that he can have a very impactful performance on it.
Yeah, it will be. I mean, a lot, like, second pick, obviously they picked it because I don't think they were worried about getting counter-picked, so it was just securing it and giving the other members of the team the opportunity to get counter-picked so they could save their picks for later. But level 3 secured now for Dark Steelion, and he will be looking to make
it wasn't on screen, but he actually tried for the flash cocoon, missed it. Now Razor should be able to capitalize. Zoinkers with his own flash forward. This should be a dead Elise when he comes down from the rappel. Although nice roots means that Dark Steelion might be able to get away, but Pillar says no. Razor has a flash of his own. First blood to Shamrock Rovers.
And Cprom had to use his heal to try and save Dark Steelion. It didn't work out there. He has the spellbook to be able to swap that out, but he was obviously looking to save that for later. This definitely messes things up a little bit.
And certainly, the attempt at making a play for St. Pat's to start it off does not work, and Shamrock Rovers in perfect position to capitalize, have first blood on their jungler. Razor is going to be quite happy about that and can really start getting into this game as the Trundle.
Yeah, that first kill, and just got to set Dark Steelion back just that little bit so that first kill would have been huge for him, and in that snowball that Elise always wants to get going. Not getting it though. We'll have to see how he reacts and what he's able to do with the setback.
And certainly Cprom making that recall, as you said, blew the heal, so it's not like he can pop into the teleport and get back to lane. So Zoinkers with a great start for himself just in that 1 versus 1. Dark Steelion can cover, but this Yasuo doing quite nicely into the Ryze early. I think Ryze can struggle to deal with Yasuo when it comes to these early levels, but just because of the aggression that you're capable of on that pick. So Cprom doing his best to play it defensively and has been forced on the back foot quite a bit as a result.
I think I gotta highlight Full Auto Attack. Not one of the highest ranked players in the tournament, but has been doing a really admirable job in this top lane. I think he's actually gold.
I think he's platinum right now.
Is he plat?
Low platinum.
But you know, like coming in, he's not someone that we were looking to stand out, but he's done a really good job in understanding what his role on the team is, what he needs to do, and just executing that very nicely and being a really good team player. And I think that needs to be sometimes highlighted, because we talk about obviously the star players in mid lane like Zoinkers, Dano, Cprom, but sometimes it's just about being a good teammate and enabling your key player to carry. And I think Full Auto Tank has done a great job at that.
I think certainly you could make the argument that he's one of the best role players in the competition so far when it comes to playing these tanks, and is really fulfilling what the team needs. Has also had a couple of games on champions like Camille and Swain, so he can bring those to the table when needs be. However, Zoinkers might be caught out. Cocoon does connect, and they should be able to get the damage down here. This Yasuo getting the knock up and trying to get to safety in the river, but the flash forward from Cprom. One more EQ combo from the Ryze, and St. Pat's are on the board.
Definitely, and I think that's the strength of the Elites now coming out into the rides. Just the amount of CC locking down Zoinker, one of the most mobile champions, nearly got away, forcing the flash.
Witzel might be able to land the root here, and he does connect it onto Razor, but that Trundle was already far enough away. Nothing else coming here for St. Pat's just yet.
No. So just trading up in the top lane. Looking across the scoreboard, CS is about even. Museums is ahead by about 5 CS, but the waves pushed into Adzi at the moment, so he should even that up in just a second.
Can collect that farm. Darkstelion though looking for the Cocoon mid lane, but Zoinkers has rejoined this lane. C-Prom is close by once again, so 2v2, nothing that Zoinkers wants to pressure too much in this case. Pretty intense around this mid lane, but St. Pat's do have a kill on that rise, so C-Prom will be feeling potentially just a little bit more comfortable now.
Definitely. I think, so looking down at the bot lane, we haven't seen Museums of Witzel be able to poke with as much damage as the previous game. And Shamrock's bot lane is doing a much better job in the bot lane of kind of holding off. So it'll be interesting to see how things scaled up, because Museum's name is actually he is an Ezreal main, so I don't think Ezreal has had a lore update. I think he's still into
he still does
so so he is an Ezreal main, very comfortable in that champion, so it'll be interesting to see how he does later on. But Xayah is such a strong pick and can scale so nicely.
And certainly the damage that can come out of that Blade Caller in the later stages of the game is pretty significant, and St. Pat's will have to be wary of where those feathers are laid down in the fights as always. And Adzi certainly the kind of player who can make use of a champion like this. But the bot lane has been pretty even so far. Like you said, the poke coming out of the St. Pat's duo lane, not too crazy. However, knock up in the mid lane here, and C-Prom in a bit of trouble. However, Witzel there to counter, and Zoinkers is forced away. However, quite a bit of damage in response onto this rise means that Pats can't counter gank that too aggressively. And Shamrock Rovers making a play but stepping back when necessary.
Really nice rotation coming out of Witzel, recognizing that Zoinkers and Razor were likely to go aggressive around the mid lane, or he was just rotating to try and create some aggression of his own. Regardless, it worked out well. He saved his mid laner and is able to get back into the bot lane without losing very much at all. Just pointing out here, C-Prom did swap out his heal for TP. It's now, he used it obviously to get back into lane. It's now sitting at halfway through its cooldown.
He has been forced to recall quite a number of times this game, and while having that teleport helps, it is still quite a farm deficit he faces. So much so that it probably actually gives Zoinkers almost all of the gold back that he was missing here. Blue buff given over to Adzi as well, so the Xayah is free to cast more of those spells, which is pretty important. So Shamrock Rovers with a few nice moves around that bottom lane, not needing to give it over to the Yasuo, so figuring that Adzi could use it instead.
But my solo queue, Yasuo told me he had to get blue so he could hard carry.
I mean, that's Yasuo's in solo queue. That's their...
Yeah, he didn't hard carry. That was a weird thing. He just fed really, really badly and then blamed me.
You see, you get triggered by the Jax. Yasuo was mine as well as...
Oh, really?
As many other people's.
Oh, I played him. I was the one doing it. I was bad, so that's okay. Never rose higher than gold, so...
Okay, yeah. so you were the Yasuos in my game. All right. It seems to be though that Zoinkers is doing a little bit better than the gold Yasuos may have run into before. Done pretty nicely. Has picked himself up the Mercury's treads. So I think, just like I said, very respectful from him. He likes to go aggressive, but at the same time realizing what needs to be done to just deal with anything that may be coming his way from the Rise and the Elise. However, a return gang might be coming in here, but there are 4 members of Shamrock Rovers rolling the other side, and the pillar once again connects for the last breath. C-Prom with a flash over the wall, but the rest of the Rovers are there, and this is a dead Rise. Dr. Yeti, the one who picks up the kill. 2-1 to Rovers.
Great positioning out of Adzi then, just using the ultimate to lock down C-Prom after he flashes to supposed safety, getting them another kill and putting them about 1,500 gold ahead of St. Pat's.
And certainly just playing in that fog of war. So C-Prom thought he had a nice flash to safety, but there was no safety to be found. However, Ocean Drake being contested here by the remaining members of St. Pat's, making it tricky for them to take it 100%. However, it does get secured in the end by Razor off screen. So a nice little objective to pick up off the back of that kill.
At the moment though, across the board we have some advantages just in CS on the side of Shamrocks, particularly in the mid lane and the top lane. A couple of kills on their support and their jungler. But objective-wise, especially regarding towers, nothing major really happening so far. So it's about 12 minutes into the game. It's been fairly slow.
And the gold lead for Shamrock Rovers is quietly building up. They do have that 1 kill over their opponents, but despite not taking a first tower, it's actually 1.5k gold just off the back of farm advantages in both those solo lanes and for Razor in the jungle. An extra bit of gold in the pockets of Shamrock Rovers that they can certainly make use of.
Absolutely is, but where do you... Oh, here we go, more action.
Another play in the mid lane here. 3 members collapsing on this Yasuo. Flash away from him, trying to land the CC, but everything misses. No skill shots landing means that Zoinkers is just fine to hide under his tower.
You gotta hit those skill shots if you want to pick those champions.
Yep.
If you can't hit the cocoons, if you can't hit the flash cocoons, you give up first blood and you let the Yasuo get away.
Museum's taking a pretty nasty trade in that bottom lane while his support was on walkabout here, and Razor may be sensing the opportunity to make a play towards that bottom side. In any case, controlling vision in the area means it is less safe for St. Pat's to step forward and try to land that poke that you'd be expecting from the Ezreal and the Karma.
To see as things kind of develop, none of the objectives are really happening. We haven't seen too much out of the junglers. I mean, Darkstelion has attempted a few ganks, but they haven't really necessarily gone in his favor apart from the one. Razor has counter-ganked, but mainly just farming the jungle so far and farming the lanes. No one's tower is too far down. Wonder who will be going for the action. We can see that full auto tank has TP over Gloob.
Yeah,
but
the
potential for something to happen.
He
But
could.
where do you think it will happen?
Well, we see Zoinkers stepping up towards that top side of the map. Maybe not looking to pull the trigger yet on a play, but there's a lot of crowd control if they do want to go to that top lane. And if Gloob is too far forward, then he could be in quite a bit of danger. Only that Banner of Command to rely on right now, so not too crazy in terms of defensive stats for this Cho'Gath just yet. Needs to scale up a little bit in terms of health. Comparing him to the bottom lane as well, where the Ezreal Karma can play quite safely, especially with all their summoner spells up. Top lane, more of an opportunity, I think, for Shamrock Rovers if they want to make a play, but we'll see how they choose to work it. Right now, though, just slowly controlling the map. Razor quietly having a good game, as he has been a lot of the last few weeks on this Trundle, and able to get himself a bit of farm. 1-0-1. He's got to be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I think just a nice start from him. Got that first blood. Just been farming ever since then. I guess there's not too many objectives for them to focus over there. Looks like they might be skirmishing over the blue buff of Shamrock Rovers, but most likely I expect them to try and...
Flash by Dr. Yeti there, as he was a little bit too far forward. Museum's trying to get a bit of damage back. Darkstelion jumping in though, and the return damage on the Elise is pretty crazy. Darkstelion having to get away. Museums as well now at the front, has to get over the wall with that arcane shift. St. Pat's on the retreat. Full auto tank was threatening a teleport down. It was cancelled by Gloob, who is once again being forced under his tower by this Ornn.
Yeah, the Ornn is definitely bullying him, but it's converted into a 15 CS lead on the side of full auto tank.
Oh, Zoinker's trying to make the aggressive play here. If he can land the knock-up, the ultimate is available, but is he going to be able to get it? He does find it onto Darkstelion and takes another kill. It actually goes over to Razor, once again flashing after this rise, but C-Prom has the flash available, dodging out of the Steel Tempest as well, so he will be fine, but he sees his jungler go down for the second time this game.
Yeah, and full auto tank has done a surprising amount of damage to this top lane turret. It's down to about a quarter health at the moment. Backing off. Be interesting. We have 5 minutes left on, or about less than that actually, on the Rift Herald. But that is the big objective that neither teams have gone for, but I wonder if they will before it goes back to the Void and we have a Drake in 1 minute 20 seconds.
No towers down, but already over a 2,000 gold lead in favor of Shamrock Rovers here. Their lanes are just not having the best of times, and with the kill advantage as well in favor of Shamrock Rovers, things looking pretty nice for them in these opening 15 minutes. They already have quite a bit of damage on both those towers in the solo lanes as well, so Few plays to knock those down, and you will see this team accelerate to quite a significant gold lead.
And something I've touched on before, but maybe we have new viewers who haven't heard it, but I talk so much about fundamentals, and that is just CSing. So many players think you need so much more than that to be able to get gold or plat. But there's a number of pros, and I've talked to, and it's my opinion as well, that if you just have strong CSing, you can actually very easily get to gold just off of the back of that. And it's so often when we talk about Shamrock Rovers, about how do they have a 1,000 gold lead? How do they have 2,000 gold leads when there are no objectives down? It's just through good CSing. And we see full loader tank, he has about 20 CS advantage in top lane. Mid lane is about 10 CS, bot lane they're even. But it's those small things that suddenly convert into 1,000, 2,000 gold lead. And so many people, I think, overlook it and think the only way to get that gold lead is via kills or flashy plays or objectives.
And the thing is, St. Pat's are traditionally a good early game team. They've been able to get themselves advantages in the first 15 minutes of the game, generally through skirmishing, I think is the best thing, but they haven't been finding positive skirmishes so far this game. And the lanes as well, as we said, they're just getting beaten out a little bit in almost every area of the map. Look at all those towers ready to be taken by St. Pat's. Or by Shamrock Rovers, I should say. St. Pat's are looking to take the Mountain Drake instead. Very little contest from Razor here. It means they should go down unless he wants to get to the pit. It is secured by Dark Stelion, who lands the cocoon afterwards. Maybe they can turn this into a kill. Ignite onto Razor means that there is no healing coming in, but Dr. Yeti and Zoinker's there to join the fight at just the right time. Can they get over the wall? Nice dodge with the repel here, and the return engage may come in from St. Pat's. Zoinker solo at the front. They hit with the cocoon. He can flash away, but Anzi has the damage, and in goes Zoinker's. Double kill for him. Looking for the triple onto C-Braum, who cannot realm warp away. It goes over to Anzi. My oh my, what a turnaround from Shamrock Rovers.
I was so certain that Dark Stelion was going to kill Zoinkers there, dashing in, but Adzi coming up with a huge play, jumping and killing Stelion before he could do anything, stunning the other members. Zoinkers turns that around into the knockup, Lost Whisper, and that's it. It's all Lost Whisper.
4 kills. Last breath.
Last breath, that's it.
Last Whisper is the item. 4 kills, 2 towers, potentially 3. It is 3 as they take that down in the mid lane. Shamrock Rovers are rolling in the money after that fight. St. Patrick's had a little bit of an obstacle to overcome, has now become a mountain just off the back of that one fight.
Yeah, huge. That was so well played by Adzi, I think, and Zoinker's just turning it around, getting it in, and they get 2 bot lane turrets. I didn't see them get the Rift Herald, but they must have to grab the second mid lane turret.
Potentially, I think that's the Rift Herald there in the mid lane right now that might have just been taken down.
Yeah.
In any case, it has gone from a 2k gold lead to
an 8k.
An 8k gold lead.
8k gold lead from 2k
in the space of less than 3 minutes.
Absolutely. Just really, really good team fight there. Everything was looking like it was going so well for St. Pat's. Great propel coming out of Dark Stelion in the pit to avoid Zoinkers. It's ultimate. They turn it around. They very nearly kill him. Adzi comes in huge, and this is the danger of the Xayah. And you've got a question now, was this Cho'Gath first pick really worth it when they could have gone for the Ornn or something else?
Dr. Yeti looking to make a play in this top lane here, and Full Auto Tank is doing quite well in these trades, so the damage is certainly coming in. Gloob, very early flash here, but with the members moving up to that top lane, looking like it might be tower number 5 here for Shamrock Rovers.
Yeah, that's going to be huge, and no towers for St. Pat's. None at all. So this is really worrying. We can see the Baron's about to come up, but again, Shamrock's in just such a dominating position. This becomes a question of like St. Pat's, and we've seen this before, but they get they get a good gold lead just through fundamentals, just through their CSing, a couple of kills maybe here and there, and then they just convert that.
Oh, Dark Stelion rooted under tower by Adzi. Will pop down though to relative safety with this team backing him up. This Elise pick being caught in a lot of stages. The repel is handy to get to safety, but just so squishy, especially with the damage coming out from Rovers.
And she's 0-3, so she's not gotten the early game advantage that she wants. She hasn't been able to snowball. And just facing up against a Xayah, who's a 2-0-3, has finished her first item, completing the second one. It's not... Yeah, the picks and bans situation, I definitely think Shamrocks came out ahead.
And Shamrock Rovers have had very strong drafts since their resurgence, I think, in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
And this time taking advantage of a few picks that we questioned on the side of St. Patrick's and finding themselves a comp that is working very nicely for them. They played that big team fight almost on a knife's edge. Their few members were so low, but they managed to pull out a 4-0 win. And I think that just goes back to the communication that we're seeing coming out of this team. How coordinated they are, it makes it so easy for them to punish mistakes. Mistakes like we might have seen from Darkstelion here. Has the repel here, but has to come down at some point. What comes up must come down, and he comes down right into the waiting arms of Razor. Third kill of the game for this Trundle.
You can see him building Ninja Tabbies, trying to get some sort of tankiness, but he's 0-4-1, and it's just no goal.
Oh, the knock-up hits from the Janna. Last breath from Zoinkers. Thank you very much. Yasuo on a killing spree. And Shamrock Rovers actually walking back towards the Baron. They've killed the Elise.
Yeah, and they can secure it. At this point, they're just so strong. It's really tricky for them, for St. Pat's to be able to do anything. I mean, full auto is TPing in as well.
Early Monsoon being used there. Full auto tank though, looking to get to that Ezreal. However, his team has stepped away. They look to have a pick up the side of the fight, trying to get to that Rise is down. Dr. Yeti actually flashing over the wall, looking for the knockups here as they try pick off Gloob. The focus is a little bit split, but Shamrock Rovers, once they're back on the same page, they can make the kills happen. Dr. Yeti takes out the Cho'Gath for himself. Museum's getting over the wall with the Arcane Shift, so he is not a casualty either. Zoinkers, meanwhile, 1 versus 2. He doesn't care, has the win wall so he can escape after more reinforcements come in for St. Pat's. Museums, though, he's not so lucky. He knows his team is elsewhere on the map. Razor going to follow him under the tower. No Arcane Shift. Had to flash still, but I think he realized that he was going down anyway. Shamrock Rovers looking so good in these fights.
They really are, and they kind of shifted their focus off of the Baron. I think they could have just focused on it and finished it, taking it down, especially with the Trundle.
Oh, Darkstelion thought he had the pick. Cleanse comes out into the last breath. Zoinkers wants the Rise instead, dashing back and forth and back. Not able to turn it into a kill though, but sending the members of St. Pat's packing even when they have the 2 versus 1. This Yasuo too tricky to deal with.
Yeah, not able to lock him down. That cleanse is paying off massively. Just getting him out of so many, pardon the pun, sticky situations. And he's just wreaking havoc on the other side. And Adzi as well, just putting out so much damage. It's a matter of now, when are they going to turn their focus onto the Baron? And how do St. Pat's stop that? It's going to be incredibly tough for them.
And they already tried to stop them, and well, they already tried to turn their focus on the Baron,
yeah.
I should say, but it was just another opportunity for them to force a fight. And
to be honest, I think the only reason they stopped was because they were kill hungry.
Exactly. That the control that they have over this game is so it's almost impossible, I think, for St. Pat's to really come back. They cannot take them in fights. When it comes to the objectives as well, if they want to get to them, Shamrock Rovers are happy to just turn around and say, alright, then we'll just kill you instead, then we get the objective.
Yeah, and they built such a nice team comp around with the Ornn in the front line, just so nice and tanky. You have Razor on the Trundle who can steal the stats, whatever stats are on Gloob, which is not much, to be quite honest with you, but he can take those away, so Gloob then is no longer tanky, whereas Razor becomes much tankier, and Adzi and Zoinkers are just able to shred through the rest of the team of St. Pat's, and we see them clearing out these wards. They're likely to turn their focus now onto the Baron, but the waves are not necessarily in position for that, and we can see top lane will be pushing back in the favor of St. Pat's. Trying to get mid lane priority at the moment.
Certainly, but they have to be careful about where they stand. One engage comes in from this Ornn with members collapsing, and they can once again find themselves in a very, very tricky spot. Shamrock Rovers playing a little bit slower right about now, but certainly you imagine that with the level of control that they have, St. Pat's certainly have to watch their step and make sure that they aren't too far forward. Realm Warp coming out though, looking to make a pick onto this Trundle, but Razor has the pillar trying to get away. Rupture is going to connect onto this Trundle, and it looks as if St. Patrick's will be able to turn it into a pick. Shutdown Gold goes over to Gloob.
Yep, and that's actually exactly what they need to do. They need to just keep the lanes pushed out so they don't give Shamrocks too much breathing room to be able to turn and focus on the Drake. If they can grab a couple of these picks, if Shamrocks are going to split up, nice little play, nice use of the Realm Walk by C Prompts to get onto Razor before he can get away.
Yes, certainly. St. Patrick's, I should say, finding one nice move, but they are going to have to juice a lot more to get their way back into this match. close to 10,500 gold behind their opponents here. Shamrock Rovers once again just showing us why they are the #1 team in the league. I question how this matchup will go. St. Patrick's could match them in a few of Shamrock Rovers' key areas, but they just show that their team play is above all else. And St. Patrick's have really not had an answer since the get-go.
And this is St. Pat's, we have to remember, we're tied for second. So this is, in theory, up against a second-place team. Shamrocks are just demolishing that, really, at this point. 10k gold lead. They've just walked into Baron, grabbed that. Nothing St. Pat's can do. I wonder what the other teams are thinking when they're looking at this.
Say, very scared is the general thought process for a lot of their opponents coming into this one. Now at the Baron buff, Shamrock Rovers can make a push happen. We do see the knock-up come in, and this should be a dead Cho'Gath. 2-man rupture not going to help you out with 5 Rovers staring you down. And now with the Cho'Gath off of the board, it is time to send these minions towards the enemy base.
They are securing first place. They're just focusing down on this turret. Throwing down.
Yeah.
And should make sure that they're nice and healthy. And first inhibitor going over to Shamrocks, but St. Pat's still a big fat 0 on the board for turrets. I wonder if Shamrocks are determined to win it without losing anything. The bot lane turret on their side, but is this what a little bit of pride?
And certainly, I think that this is given, if they play cleanly from here on out, then I don't see St. Patrick's getting a tower at all. Well, they're not giving an opportunity.
They recognize that the only death that they've had probably in the last 10 minutes was when Razor was was solo, and they've just grouped up into a ball of death that St. Pat's really just can't seem to deal with.
And certainly, if they group up like this, we see how these fights have gone all throughout the game. Razor happy to soak up a little bit of crowd control as the team makes the rotation towards that bottom side of the map. They want to use this Baron buff to open up even more of the St. Pat's base and potentially catch them just a little bit too far forward, because the fights is where they have been making everything happen in this game. They have the buffed up cannon minion coming in, so it's going to be a tough task for St. Pat's to defend against it, especially with all the magic damage that their champions have.
Yeah, and I hope just with this buffed up cannon minion, I hope everyone in the bar is counting those shots as they do in the LCS. Even if we can't hear you guys, you should be doing it. But we can see top lane will be pushing in for Shamrock because they have the open inhibitor. They've got the cannon just focusing on that inhib in the bot lane, and they're just baiting St. Pat's, asking them to come forward so they can get this fight going. Ornn still has his ultimate. I actually haven't seen it in the whole game. Here we go.
There we go. Call of the Forge God coming out from full auto tank into the last breath. Exactly the combo that Shamrock Rovers want. They get the first kill onto Gloob here. Zoinker's looking for Witzel with the Steel Tempest, able to get it, trying to clean up the backline as well. Make that a double for the Yasuo as Adzi takes out his opposing number here. Clean fight from Shamrock Rovers as they tear through the St. Pat's base. Another challenger steps up, another challenger falls to the top team in the league.
Cprom trying to get something back, but Shamrock's not even losing a single turret there the whole game. Such a clean game, getting 2k gold lead at the start just through good CSing, just pushing that through. St. Pat's not too sure what they were thinking about that draft. I think they could have gone about it in a different way and still gotten the Cho'Gath and the Elise. But a lot of the other teams, I can imagine Team 3 and Sligo must be looking at this and kind of concerned about what is their strategy going to be to beat Shamrocks.
I mean, they've shown that their early game, their laning, very good. Their team fighting, very good. Their macro play, very good.
Their champion pool.
Champion pools as well, very good.
Everyone can carry.
Exactly. I mean, how do you stop this side?
I think it's really hard, and it's like when I look back at 2 weeks ago, they were playing a little bit, should we say, fast and loose, and that was where I was saying that some of the better teams might be able to take advantage of that. But this week and last week was so clean. Like, it was just such a well-executed game of just win lane, move those advantages, slowly snowball them into objectives like Drake, like Rift Herald, and wait. And this is the thing, it's like what I really like. They're not forcing it. They're not panicking. They're not trying to push it too hard. They're just waiting for the right opportunity and just kind of setting everything up in such a way that when they get that opportunity and they win that first fight, suddenly we see they win one fight and 3 objectives go down, 3 towers go down. And actually it was like 5 towers went down instead, and it went from a 2k gold lead to a 10k gold lead. And it was in like 3 minutes. Suddenly the whole map just kind of disappeared for the side of St. Pat's, and I think Shamrocks do that so well, and it's really scary.
Yeah, certainly. Shamrock Rovers right now 7-1 at the top of the standings. They are
continue that win streak.
Exactly. Like I said, their only loss was in week 1. We're actually looking at the standings here. Meanwhile, off the stream, we had Bohemians against Derry City, and it was Bows who managed to take the win.
Fortunately, Derry still winless.
Yeah, I mean, the Ted Blonde fan club will be pretty happy with their team getting a win here. They're first in 5 weeks, I believe. So
yeah,
it's been finally back on the board. But at the top of the table is where we're looking right now. Shamrock Rovers maintaining control of first place. St. Pat's still sitting in 4th. However, watch out for Dundalk. They have a game later on this evening against Limerick, and a victory there will tie them up on that score. St. Pat's have to be looking in their rear view mirror here as they get ready for week 9.
Yeah, absolutely. And a few weeks ago, Dundalk were telling me that they will make top 4, and they have so far kind of put their money where their mouth is, and it looks like they're going to be able to match up there and kind of tie up for week for 4th place. But
yeah,
final match of the day, that's going to be an exciting one. But before we get to that, we're going to throw it over to Holly, who's with our team captains.
Thanks for that, Nikita. Thank you so much, Nikita. What a game. We knew it was going to be, but we didn't know it was going to swing so far that way. I mean, really, it's just a case of Shamrock Rovers proving why they deserve to be at the top of the table. Okay, Luke, Vincent, if you want to join me, the captains of the 2 teams, it's going to be congratulations and commiserations yet again. We'll talk to these guys in just a moment after the break.
Video games are the latest craze to sweep the...
Once, gaming was a simple pursuit. Groundbreaking, yet limiting.
Video fever, the games people play.
And then, it evolved.
This is the next generation of video games, but these...
And so too did the gamer.
Professional, competitive video gaming.
You see, the thing about evolution,
This is what kids are doing. This is what people want to see.
it never ends.
I wanted you to know that I am ready to go. Heartbeat, my heartbeat.
Now, we're here. On the Vegas Strip.
Is it going to connect? Stay close to Jake. Oh. Your champion, Ghost Gaming. Las Vegas Daddy is going to be there.
Anyone can play. Are you ready? Ready?
I'm suddenly in the mood for pizza after that. Welcome back to 3 Ireland's EStars. I'm joined by the captains of St. Pat's and Shamrock Rovers, towering above me and towering above everybody else in this competition. Luke, the captain this week, you must be feeling pretty good right now.
Feeling really good. 7-1, guaranteed playoffs, strong form. I'm happy. We're all happy.
Really strong form. I mean, we knew this was going to be a good game, but I mean, you sort of annihilated them. I'll say that quietly while Vincent's here, but were you expecting it to go that way?
I thought it would be a lot closer. It was just, we only took fights that were advantageous towards us, and I don't know, every time we weren't losing members, we were getting all the objectives we wanted. was a really good push top, and then we secured Barn, and it was all she wrote after that. So happy.
What is the secret to Shamrock Rovers' success in this competition? You have just been getting better and better every week. Is it about communication? Is it about tactics? What do you discuss from week to week?
I think it's mainly just synergy. That's something that's kind of developed. Like, I know week 2, I was actually jungling. Week 3, Dano wasn't around. I know that was week 2 as well. But there's been those first few weeks, but a lot of scrims went our way. We just built up synergy. Everyone knows that Dano's a really strong mid laner. Tend to just have the jungle play around him and take what objectives we can get off of his merits. And, you know, it's been going so far so good. So keep going. Fingers crossed it goes well for us. Although Rengus was looking particularly spicy on his jacks, so they'll be a threat in anyway.
This is the concern now. You've got another game pretty soon on Thursday. I mean, we haven't had games as close as back-to-back as that. How do you keep up that momentum and the positivity?
We'd probably try and scrim again. Everyone's pretty positive after that win, but looking forward to playing Bows. They're a fun team. We're happy we are qualified. They're happy that they're not qualified. So maybe a few fun picks might come out on Thursday. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, I love the idea of the fun picks. I mean, looking ahead even further to the grand final at the 3 Arena, May 13th. It's coming around pretty quickly. You are pretty confident now you're in the playoffs. The thought of the €20,000, that must be coming around every so often.
It's very exciting. And the trip as well, that'd be unbelievable. So all the lads are pretty happy out. Just keep kind of doing what we're doing, and it's hard to believe we came this far and where we are now. Week 1, we were not feeling like this. It's different. It's good.
It's very good. It just shows you what can happen in this competition. At one point, it really was anyone's, but Shamrock Rovers stretching ahead. St. Pat's, you were one of the favourites very early on as well, with a really good record. What has happened, though? That game shouldn't have gone that way. How did you feel about it?
I mean, we drafted towards like early game type of thing, and then I did like one bad gank where I blew my flash. The jungler punished me, and then they keep punishing me, and their mid jungle combo, they collapsed on me much faster than my mid laner, and then pretty much straight up entered from there. So.
Vincent, that really is the issue with this entire tournament, isn't it? That just the smallest of mistakes can just cost you dearly. People watching on Twitch right now will be well aware just what a difference it makes to that game. What will you learn from these mistakes moving forward?
Hopefully we will learn to hopefully to improve on our early game and in our decision making. We made one bad team fight when we were calling for Drake. Then my mid laner was calling for us to back off, but we chose to fight. The fight looked really well for us, and then somehow the Yasuo just turned, and then the Janna with the Xayah, and then pretty much snowballed from there on. We were trying to stabilize, stop the bleeding, but straight up just lost all from that one big mistake, you know?
That is the issue, just that one mistake can cost you so much. Looking ahead, though, I mean, we have another big heat on Thursday right here at DCU yet again. You're still hoping to remain within the playoff places. The likes of Dundalk hot on your heels, though. What will you be working on between now and then?
Probably just look to beat 3, practice as much as hard as we can, you know? I feel like 3's pretty easy, so hopefully take the easy win.
3 easy. Now, that's not something that a lot of people have said, to be honest. 3 can be a bit of a banana skin for a lot of people.
I mean, I played against most of their players, bar maybe they were mid to bot lane, and I pretty much know what to do. Camp Rengus, he knows when I play against him. I just camp him, you know. So yeah, he's gonna int definitely. He's not gonna have that same impact that he had against Bray. So that's the game plan. Camp Rengus, and then BM him with emotes. It's gonna tilt.
Good. So you haven't given up just yet. There's plenty more to come. Luke, congratulations again. You know, Shamrock Rovers storming ahead. I'll be keeping an eye on St. Pat's, though, Vincent. I still think they could make the playoff places. It's still anybody's, that top 4 trying to get to the grand final at the 3 Arena in Dublin on May 13th. Plenty more action to come, though. We'll have all that and more after the break.
Video games are the latest craze to sweep the...
Once, gaming was a simple pursuit. Groundbreaking, yet limited.
Video fever, the games people play.
And then, it evolved.
This is the next generation of video games, but these...
And so too did the gamer.
Professional, competitive video gaming.
You see, the thing about evolution,
This is what kids are doing. This is what people want to see.
it never ends.
I wanted you to know that I am ready to go. Heartbeat, my heartbeat.
Now, we're here. On the Vegas Strip.
Just stay close to Jake. Your champion, Ghost Gaming. Las Vegas Daddy is gonna be there.
Anyone can play. Are you ready? Ready?
This is the biggest challenge of their lives.
This is the fastest growing spectator sport in the world.
They seriously don't understand how good I am at this game, and we are going to win this.
Hi, I'm Liam from 3 Ireland's EStars.
Hi, I'm Tim from Peak.
And we're here to launch 3 Ireland's EStars merchandise.
Designed by Peak.
Cut.
Yeah, you're allowed to come off now, mate. Okay. There you go.
Three Ireland's EStars is an amateur gaming competition in which we will give the opportunity to an amateur gamer to become Ireland's next EStar. We've partnered with the clubs across the League of Ireland, so there already is a rivalry there and a competition. We're dipping into that rivalry and we're taking it to the gaming scene. Peak is a very similar brand to ourselves, what Tim Crew's trying to do and break into the markets, and similar to us, we're looking to break into a new market as well. I think there's a great synergy there between ourselves and Peak.
It's a really exciting partnership. It's such a new business. I think it's amazing to give anybody an opportunity to be able to go on a big stage in front of thousands and thousands of people, and the final is going to be immense.
This is the biggest challenge of their lives.
This is the fastest growing spectator sport in the world.
They seriously don't understand how good I am at this game, and we are going to win this.
Let's see the big arena area. See what that looks like.
Sounds good. What? Wait.
Oh my goodness. Dude, this looks so sick.
It's amazing. That's really nice.
Wow. You gonna walk on the stage?
Yeah. What is that, a turntable? No, I'm not gonna touch it. I'm not gonna touch it.
This is so sick.
Can't get anything at the bar.
Hello there, buddy.
Oh, shut up.
Welcome back to 3 Ireland's EStars. We are live here from the DCU in Dublin for the first of 2 legs here this week. Oh, you could cut the tension with a knife. They all just fell silent. We're heading into the final game of this evening, which we are casting right across Twitch tonight. It's Dundalk versus Limerick. Limerick, of course, coming fresh off the back of losing to 3 last week. They'll be hoping for a victory, but Dundalk, they're looking red hot. Well, let's get more from our casters now. David and Nikita. Now, guys, this should be a pretty interesting game. Dundalk will be looking for another victory to just continue that winning streak. Limerick, however, they are playing for pride. What type of a game can we expect?
Hey, I think the Dundalk versus Limerick map, I think it's definitely Dundalk clear favourites over there, but that's not the match on stream. It's going to be Sligo against Cork. But yeah, thanks. We're going to jump straight into picks and bans, and we see that Alawi, Yasuo, and Zach taken away from Cork.
And certainly, targeted bans away from Cork has been the bane of their competition so far. Alawi in that top lane, Yasuo in that mid lane, Zach as well away from Gulag. On the other side, bans a little bit more general. Caitlin Brom taken away
the
from
Graves.
Sligo. The Graves as well is a slightly different one. I know Dakin does like those more carry-focused champions, but Graves a little bit interesting. Caitlin Brom a lot more standard, especially against that Sligo bot lane.
Dakin just wants that first pick Lee Sin. That's all he wants, but his team won't let him pick it. For good reason, I'd say.
I don't know. If you're a good enough Lee Sin, I think you can make it work.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
but
well, first pick Trundle. That's
if you're
what he
good
said.
enough, if you're good enough Trundle as well, you can definitely make that work.
Your team makes it for you. Makes the pick for you. Yeah, no, I mean, we saw Graves last week used quite well, even though a bit of a shaky start. Ended up doing a lot of damage and taking over the match a little bit. Kai'Sa, though, being responsible.
Kai'Sa is available.
Left up. So this is going to be
so
the second
Swain,
time
if
we've
Cork
seen
want to go with
Kai'Sa.
that.
Yeah. So second time we've seen Kai'Sa in the tournament will be. at least streamed.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see what's done with them. They comboed with Alistair.
And certainly a bot lane that can play aggressively, especially when it gets to level 6. A lot of playmaking potential for Cork City if they want to really take it to Devils and Blue Bullberry. And those are the 2 champions they're going to go with. A lot of priority on the Alistair early in the draft. Cork laying their cards on the table.
Absolutely. They're showing where the focus of the match will be.
There's
Zaya returned. I wonder if they're going straight for Zaya Rakan. So we saw Zaya last game, so good. And yep, we see the Rakan being picked straight in. Now Cork, how are they going to respond to that? So very strong bot lanes from both teams.
Certainly, and I think Kaisa and Alistair will have to be careful in the early levels. Compared to the Zaya and Rakan, I think the playmaking potential is actually in favour of Sligo in that case. And Cork City may have ignored that a little bit as the potential strong bot lane they could come up against. We'll see what their last pick in the first round of picks is. They're going to go with the Veigar mid lane.
Okay, so we haven't seen this since week 1 when they had their upset win over Shamrock Rovers, giving Shamrocks their only loss in the whole tournament was a Veigar mid lane. So now they grab that. Be interesting to see what does Sligo, how do they respond? Do they look to counterpick or do they just take something more stable? First ban,
certainly Corky is going to be denied in that mid lane. It's a good job to focus it. Whenever Firth has a big performance, the Cork City team looks fantastic. And I think just setting them up as well as they can in that mid lane matchup could work out for them. Sligo, meanwhile, choosing to focus on that top lane. We do see Teddy Sprinkle's champion pool can be a little bit shallow sometimes, so maybe a few more bans his way could work out.
Absolutely. Swain being taken away in the end, so Cork not wanting to give it over to Sligo, understandably, since they didn't grab it at the very start. Final ban coming in for Sligo.
And we'll see what they choose to go with. Could be something like the Kled I was about to say. That is one of the top champions for Teddy Sprinkles. Both teams still left to lock in their top laners here. We'll see if Cork look to get priority or if they look for a counter pick. You'd imagine it would be a good opportunity for them to pick up a jungle champion for Gulag. We've seen them go for the Gragas sometimes when there's been a few top tier junglers off of the table, but actually choosing to instead focus on the top lane here. Strong pick, and I know it's something that Kexius does like on that Sligo side. It is the Sion.
Yeah, Sion's very good in top lane. Cho'Gath, the response coming out of Sligo.
I think it makes sense.
Combo that in. Yeah, it does. I think it's good choice into Sion. True damage is always useful. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, it's going to. I wonder actually how the Cho'Gath true damage into Kaisa. Kaisa needs to be careful who she jumps in on with her ultimate, I'd imagine.
Yeah, don't want to be getting too close to Cho'Gath as a low health AD carry on that side. But now Sligo looking for that mid lane pick last. They get the opportunity to counterpick both solo lanes. I think I would have almost preferred the swap around for both of these teams. I think the Sion can actually be shut down a little bit. Is he going to go for the Zed in the mid lane? Dragon Ship?
Against a Veigar? It's going to be hard for Veigar to get out of it, but wow. Okay, Zed coming out. So 2 Zeds, 2 weeks. Zed against Veigar. I mean, it's definitely a way to counter an unusual pick is to go back for the Zed, and Veigar's in quite a. It is a tricky situation for him to counter against the Zed, but a Hex Drinker.
Is Gulag going to go for the Lee Sin? Yeah, no, he's been playing a little bit of it in solo queue. He thinks that recent changes to the champion make it pretty strong, and they are going to lock it in. Lee Sin in the jungle for Gulag here. I'm excited.
It is. I mean, like, it's an unusual team comp. When we're looking at Cork City, they have their front line, obviously Sion, engage around with Sion and Lee Sin. Lee Sin can create a lot of opportunities. Veigar can do so much damage, especially once he starts to scale up. But it's entirely for Cork now to win this match and to really go full steam ahead and make their team comp work. Be interesting to see how Kaisa deals with the early game.
Certainly, I think that bot lane is going to be pretty tricky for Cork in those first few levels. I think that there's a lot of areas in the map that they may just have to play it a bit tentatively in the early game and around that level 6 point as well. I know certainly that Veigar will have to keep an eye out for Deathmark coming in and him potentially just being blown up. But
Probably running Cleanse Barrier?
I'd say potentially. We'll see what he does.
I don't know. It's a bit of a weird one because they changed it so it doesn't cleanse.
Yeah,
Deathmark
you can't.
anymore, so
it was the QSS.
Yeah, that was it.
But
now
you can't
can't.
QSS Deathmark anymore.
No.
So
do you?
I'd see, could go exhaust, but I'm not sure. I think it's more of a choice than anything. I think if you're quick enough in the exhaust, you can block a lot of the damage coming in after the Deathmark,
which is what matters.
Certainly, the barrier as well can just be used to block a lot of the damage. I think there's a few options. I think it can come down to playstyle almost in a lot of these cases. We'll see what he does go with, but I think certainly in terms of how their damage scales later on, Cork have all the tools, but they are going to have to keep it together in both the early game and the mid game, I think.
Yeah, but I love this sort of team comp. I love this sort of attitude because I think it's taking control of their fate. It's taking champions that they want, taking playmaking champions, and really looking just to win and win hard and take the fight to Sligo. And I think that sort of mentality, putting yourself in an aggressive position, in a dominant position, and putting Sligo a little bit on the back foot is going to make this a really exciting match.
We'll have a look at the Sligo Rovers lineup here. It is Kexius in that top lane, Dakin in the jungle, Dragonship mid lane, and then Devils and Blue Bullberry teaming up in that bottom lane. Sligo Rovers on a... I'm trying to think of it now. Is it a 4-game win streak? I think they've taken wins the last 4 weeks in a row to move to 5 and 2, looking to make it 5 here against Cork in a match that they are heavily favoured.
Definitely. They are currently tied for second, I believe.
If they win this match, they are tied for second.
Yes, they're tied for third, and they'll be tied for second. But on Cork City, Teddy Sprinkles in the top lane, Gulag in the jungle, Firth in the mid lane, I Am Pa as ADC, and Krusty Pants as the support.
And
they have the best names in this team.
Yeah, they certainly do. They also have had some of the best upsets, I think, throughout the competition. They obviously they're the only team to have beaten Shamrock Rovers. There was that crazy win against Bohemians that we weren't really expecting. That allowed them to stay in the tournament. Obviously, not the case anymore. They are out of contention. First giving us a wave over the side, but yeah, certainly I think this is a team who almost the blue shell of the competition. When you're out in front, you have to be watching out for Cork City because
especially when they choose to play these sort of comfort picks and these sort of comfort comps. We can see the bar rocking. Yep, this little dance moves. And we're coming back to me. No one wants to see my dance moves. Going back to the bar, but no, I definitely Sligo favoured. Definitely, we expect them to win. Cork not in contention, but like you said, Blue Shell, they have beaten some very good teams, and I think they're at their best when they kind of play champions that they feel very comfortable on. Team comps when they're very comfortable.
Yes, certainly, and they do have that Veigar, which was the cause of one of those upsets that we saw previously in the tournament, so could see something big there. At least thing gets rolling early as well. I mean, that could... I think what it could do is alleviate a lot of the pressure that we may be expecting on Cork at the game's opening. So Gulag, big performance from him, could go a long way to securing Cork's chances in this game.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Veigar go like a Hex Drink or something. Is it Hex Drinker? Would that be good?
For the Zed?
Yeah. No.
No.
What am I thinking
Zed's
of?
physical damage.
Yes. What am I?
Seeker's Arm Guard.
Thank you. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah. Seeker's rushing that, but then chained into... The nice thing is it's like Lee Sin into Veigar's stun can be so obnoxious, actually. And it creates... And Veigar's stun is actually just such a huge area of effect and locks you down. Like, there could be a lot of action, and if that Zed is kind of put behind, it would be very annoying.
That's the thing. Zed can be quite feast or famine. We'll be looking to feast on a Veigar this game. Dragonship will be looking to execute very quietly a strong performer for this team. Came into the competition as one of the most touted lineups just in terms of individual talent across the board. Cork giving us these looks towards the camera every so often, but yeah, I think Sligo Rovers, it took them a while to get to that stage, but they have now, as you said, they've reached their potential over the last few weeks. They've started getting these wins against key opponents here, And like I said, they have this fixture as well next week to be looking forward on Thursday, I should say,
Yes.
to be looking forward to against Dundalk. So
That's going to be an exciting match.
That is, guys, going to be a big one here. But obviously, first you have to get through Cork and have to make sure that the upset does not come through against an opponent that is capable of it.
Yeah, because the thing is, if they lose to Cork, then suddenly they're in danger of being eliminated by either St. Pat's or Dundalk. So it's a real, it's a nail biter.
100%. They, I believe their tiebreak scenario is a bit mixed depending on who they're up against. So, all in all, they will have to be very careful, and will if they do lose this game, because then they could be in quite a.
And this is the thing: is it's entirely in their power. But Cork have drafted a comp which can take over if they do it. Lee Sin can be such a terror on the map, even though we haven't seen him recently. He has been picking up steam, and he's just an old kind of favorite of all junglers.
Yeah.
Everyone loves the playmaking potential of Lee Sin, loves to play him, and if he's hopping back and forth over the map, it could be a real terror.
Yeah, certainly. I'm looking forward to seeing this one. Lee Sin coming in here. Zed, these champions that we don't see too often. Begar as well, obviously, is another one.
The throwback to week 1.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of these kind of picks today. We saw it in this first game as well.
Last week too, some of them.
Yeah, there's these players are certainly happy to go back to comfort when needs be, and I think for the most part it tends to work out. Because, for example, we saw the Lucian work out very nicely for Cramp in the first game of the day. So when you can execute these picks, I believe you said it before the first game, actually, if as long as you can play the champion, it's better you go for something that you are good on than something that you are not great on but is strong in the meta.
And I think that, I mean, obviously there are exceptions to that where some champions are so bad that you can't pick them, but a lot of these champions that we're talking about are sitting at that kind of, tier C, where they're just not the very top tier picks, but that's okay, and you don't always have to go for that, especially if you're so good on. There's a reason why Limerick's mid laner's Katarina is banned out every single game. Doesn't matter how bad Katarina is, no one in this whole tournament wants to play against Limerick's mid laner on the Kata, and that must be a huge point of pride for him. And it's
I'd say I think he wants to play. Yeah,
he does. He really wants to play it, and it sucks that he hasn't. I want him to play it, but at the same time, like, it just goes to show that even though the champion isn't great, he is able to play to such a level that he makes it deadly.
Definitely. We see these teams just throwing a few sides over at each other. Perf, give the stare towards the camera. Cork, they seem in high spirits here. They don't seem phased by their opposition at all this game.
Well, no pressure on them. That's the thing. Is that they are out of qualification range for top 4, but that means that this is just fun, and they can do whatever chaos they want, and they can play whatever they want, and they can just have a good time. So win or lose, they're in a great position. Whereas on the other side, Sligo, they're smiling, they're laughing, I'm sure they feel confident, but I wonder what happens if they start to fall behind in the game. Do they start to get stressed? Do they start to get a little bit too concerned?
Yeah.
What happens then?
Sligo, a team that has been able to, in a lot of cases, just overpower their opponents.
Yeah.
But if that's not working for you, then that'll show what they are made of.
He made a strong showing for his MVP.
Yes,
whether he'll win
certainly. He's been missing out on it a few weeks, but definitely a strong candidate for it this week, like you said. We'll see how this game goes, I think, afterwards.
Yep.
Maybe someone else pops up with a big performance that can snatch it away from him.
You can let him know then.
I'm assuming he can hear me out in the thing.
Oh no, I'm sure he can. But if he loses it, you're the one who can break it to him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's got another opportunity on Thursday, technically.
One more.
So,
and maybe finals.
Oh yeah,
that
too. I mean, if you could only be the finals MVP and skip any individual week MVPs, I think you'd take it.
That's definitely the one you want to go. We'll be hopping into game very soon. I know we'll be going to a short ad break just before that. But big match, final match of the day, Sligo versus Cork. Big match for Sligo. They obviously want to secure the win to keep themselves in contention for the top 4, keep themselves in a safe position. But a loss here doesn't mean they drop down, and there is a chance that they could be knocked out.
Yeah, I think key matchup for this one, just in terms of players to look at here, Dakin and Gulag. Gulag on the Lee Sin, we've been talking about that, how it's not at the top of the meta, but if you're a good enough Lee Sin, you can still have a huge impact on the game. Dakin on the Trundle, we have seen him put in huge performances when he's picked up this champion in the past, so definitely will be a tough task for Gulag to match that, but if Gulag's been practicing the Lee Sin, then maybe he's up to the task.
And Gulag has been actually such a good player for Cork, and has been so great in the jungles and what he's been able to do and how he's been able to influence the map. And I think Lee Sin is arguably one of the best junglers that can move from lane to jungle in such creative ways that he can come at you from such unexpected angles. And I'll be excited to see Gulag take advantage of that.
Yeah, and hopefully we get a Lee Sin clinic from him, and I think Cork will certainly be hoping for that as well, just given how that pick is set to work out for them. They do have lanes that maybe could be falling behind, I think, in terms of mid and bottom lanes, so but a strong jungler can just force your opponents to back off.
Do you think mid lane is like Viga is going to be weak into Zed? Because Zed early on is not exactly dominant.
It's certainly, I mean,
you rush Seeker's arm guard, that's going to make things a lot harder.
You get to level 6 though, and Zed will be hoping to pop you, and as well, if the Trundle looks for something in the mid lane, the Veigar, pretty immobile champion, doesn't have an easy way to escape from the Trundle, especially if the cage is down, so Dakin could be looking there himself when it comes to trying to make plays early on. I think there's a few targets for him actually when it comes to just trying to make things happen early on the Trundle.
But that being said, Viga, if he manages to lock down Zed, that's going to be tricky. But we'll have to see how it goes. We're about to jump into game.
This is the biggest challenge of their lives.
This is the fastest growing spectator sport in the world.
They seriously don't understand how good I am at this game, and we are going to win this.
And we're in the match.
Live and brief pause, but now we are back into this one. Sligo Rovers versus Cork City. Cork City out of the competition, just looking to play spoiler here for a very informed Sligo Rovers team who will not only have their sights set on the playoffs, they want to get as high a seeding as possible here. See some early shenanigans going down, and more members here for Sligo Rovers means they can play this a little bit more aggressively, and they will force the Scion back first as well. We'll have to get away, but Devil's actually in from the other side, so quite a bit of damage coming in on those solo laners for Cork City. Will likely force recalls here.
Probably. We'll have to see how things happen, but I'm excited to see what happens between Dak. I mean, Gulag is someone that obviously we just talked about watching and what his impact will be, but it'll be curious to see how does Dakin kind of react to that, and where does he look to influence the map.
Potentially the Trundle could be a big player in this game. We've seen Dakin have these big performances on the champion so far this competition. Sligo Rovers using the early pressure actually to get wards on both buffs, so complete and total information control for them when it comes to where Gulag is starting. Knowing where the Lee Sin is beginning is clear, it can be pretty huge. You'll know what side of the map he will likely be ganking from.
Yeah.
And against a champion who can gank so well, that's always pretty handy.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think we saw that they had
early ignite actually onto Ayampa, forcing both summoners out of this Kaisa in the very first minion wave. Boobleberry and Devils want to go aggressive.
Yeah, they know exactly. They want to win, and they want to win hard. They don't want to give Ayampa the opportunity to really get the items that he needs to power up.
And certainly want to use the Xayah Rakan synergy to their advantage in these early levels when it probably shines the most in comparison to the Kaisa Alistair combo they are facing in this game. Devils and Blueberry have been growing as a duo lane throughout the competition and is slowly developing in one of the strongest pairs in the tournament, and looking to flex their muscles against the Cork bot lane, who have been alright, but sometimes I think a little bit suspect.
I think, to be honest, Sligo are really the team that have come alight in the latter half of the tournament. Like we said, they're on a 4-game win streak. We have 2 more games to go, but if they win this, it's 5 weeks. A lot of attention has been about Shamrocks and the unfortunate 2-game losses of Team 3. But Sligo have really just stepped up, done really well, and just consistently won game after game.
I mean, a victory in this one, and they are in really good position for securing a place in the playoffs. I imagine that they will have that in the back of their mind.
I remember, I think it was week 2 or week 3, they played Team 3, and it was a really close game. They lost it, but it was very close, and yeah, it would have been interesting. Firth, though,
Forced a flash.
First to flash.
Dakin was looking for a gank in that middle lane, and getting that Veigar flash out is really nice. That should set the Trundle up for the great opportunity to make a play if he wants to come back to that lane.
Yep, and probably will be, and wonder what Gulag will be doing. He's rotating around top. You can see Sprinkles.
He looked like that trade was going in his favor, but he takes a lot of damage in response from that Cho'Gath. Dakin now looking for a play in the bottom lane. Nice pillar. Krusty Pants with a great headbutt to keep Blue Bullberry away. However, the damage is still coming through. First blood for Devils and Sligo Rovers.
And this is why Xayah is such a powerful pick, and you need to be so careful about giving her any opportunity.
Definitely. Zyrakan, fantastic combo here, and Dakin with a lot of early pressure on this Trundle, showing up in the mid lane, getting the flash, showing up in the bottom lane, getting that kill. And Sligo off to a great start in a lane that can arguably use it the most.
Yep, definitely, and I think it just sets her a little bit ahead, and that is exactly where you want your gold to be. A nice assist gold going over to Trundle is going to help.
Now a roam coming in the mid lane. There's no flash for this Veigar already. Quick ignite comes down. Dragon Ship gets the kill, and now the Zed is snowballing as well.
Yep, and he got the kill, and great roam coming out of Blue Bullberry.
Very, very quick and clean early game here from Sligo Rovers. Already got 2 kills on the board. Gulag thinking of trying to make a play on the top side. Kexius has not received the attention of both of his laners, but a quick flash means that he will not be falling as Gulag pops into the lane, and the score stays at 2-0.
But Kexius being put on the back foot for now. Not ideal. He does have TP up. He'll probably have to TP back to lane. Yep, we see him do that. But nonetheless, Sprinkles 10 CS ahead.
The Scion using that early lane pressure to good effect, was able to call up the Lee Sin as well to cement that for himself, and he'll likely be able to hold TP advantage. However, given the deficit that his bottom lane faces, may just have to be used defensively, I think, if he wants to try bail them out of a nasty situation. You see Krusty Pants thinking of trying to make a play in the mid lane. He's still waiting in the bush, hoping that the stun comes through, waiting for Dragon Ship to maybe go aggressive here. Actually, level 6 is hit. Dakin has popped up in that mid lane here. Dragon Ship, though, doesn't know where the Alistar is and doesn't know where the Lee Sin is. He is not looking to commit to the play, despite having that ultimate available.
Yeah, very smart play from him. Not getting stunned up by Firth's stun. Not getting stunned up by the stun, and I was actually excited to see what happened when he hit level 6. Firth is still level 5, and this is his opportunity to kind of go aggressive, but a good roam coming out Krusty Pants at least negates that, whether they were aware of his positioning or not. Gulag missing that Q big time. Yeah, big whiff.
Big whiff. Point blank, and wasn't able to connect with it, so Dakin can just trundle away on the troll, get back to his own jungle, and he's going to be just fine here. So far, so good for Sligo Rovers, as was expected. Said they had to put down the pressure early, and they have done a fantastic job in these first 6 minutes. Dragon Ship could be looking for the play here. Event Horizon does come out. He's just going to dodge out, but now uses the death mark here. The damage should come through, even with that exhaust down. Pop goes the Veigar. 3 kills now for Sligo.
And Dragon Ship just playing that so patiently, knowing exactly what he wants to do, and Firth just being on the back foot, not having level 6 still is really concerning, because Dragon Ship just hit level 7.
Yeah, this is exactly what you want to see from your Zed when you lock that pick in. It took an inch, or given an inch took them all here, and the rest of Sligo might be taking even more in this bottom lane as they look for that fight. However, flash from Krusty Pants means he can get away, denying Sligo another kill, but they just have so much kill potential in this mid and bottom lane.
Gotta say also though, we haven't seen Gulag at all. He is level 5. I'm guessing he's
Scion
waiting for
ultimate
level
actually
6.
misses in the top lane, but Teddy Sprinkle's still going to stick here with the autos. However, Kexius has the damage. One little grass proc as well, helping him out. Cork's top laner thought he had the kill there, but just about missing when it came to that 1 versus 1.
I would love to see his face when that got turned around. Just really thought he had it, got it cinched there, misses the ultimate, and just Kexius plays it really nicely, turns it around.
And 4-0 now to Sligo. Even the lane that was under the most pressure, the one that was struggling against a lane bully like the Scion, managed to find himself a solo kill, keeps himself close in CS. So now the Cho'Gath's coming into this lane with more gold and has the Abyssal, so can sustain against this poke just a little bit more nicely. And Sligo just being given absolutely everything in these first 8 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. And even Kexius, I mean, he was on the back foot, but now that's it. Like, he's in a good position at the moment. See him running the UCD kind of little tagline there. But it is... Firth is having a much harder time in the mid lane than I was hoping, and he's not landing any of these stuns on Dragonship. Dragonship is just sitting in the middle, and the trick is that Firth needs to catch him with the edge of it, but it's not working out for him. And now that Gulag is level 6, though, I expect to see a lot more action, hopefully coming out of him.
Needs to start making these plays. Lee Sin, classic playmaking champion here, but we haven't seen too much out of Gulag just yet. With that Dragon's Rage available, maybe he can do a little bit more this time around. And now looking for the bot lane as a potential arena to try catch out a member of Sligo Rovers, but level 6 for Devils means that he might not be going down. Blueberry as well could be a tricky character to lock up, and they have fantastic control in terms of vision around the area, so nothing coming there for Gulag, even if he tried.
Yeah, I just really hope we're not getting a 90-minute Meteos inspired Lee Sin. That was long enough to last me a lifetime, and I don't need to see anyone try to
He learned how to play that champion by the end of the game.
He did,
He remembered. We do see Dakin, though, looking for a gank on that top side. The crowd control comes through, and an early flash from the Scion is followed by Dakin. He wants the kill. It actually goes over to Kexius, who finds his second of the game. Dakin showing his top laner a little bit of love there by showing up to the top side for the first time.
Dakin has just been all over this map. He's been playing it really nicely. Kexius working with him really well. Now 2 assists on the side of Dakin and 2 kills on Cho'Gath just means that basically Sprinkles won't be able to threaten Cho'Gath from now on, and they're going to be doing a lot of damage to this turret.
Gulag looking for the play, but Dragonship hops back, has the death mark as well. The stun, though, is used by Firth here, and Gulag able to follow. Finally, the Lee Sin makes a play, and Cork City are on the board.
And that was the combo that I was talking about. They finally executed. The top turret, though, does go over. First turret gold goes over to Sligo, and that puts them at about 2,500 gold. 3,500 gold.
Yeah, they are very quickly developing this lead here, and a lot of it on the Cho'Gath actually. Whoever, Krusty Pants wants to play in the bottom lane. Level 6 available for this Alistair, and Gulag as well showing up. Nice Feather Storm from Devils, and he gets himself to safety. He will live after all of that, and Blueberry as well, looking like he's going to be okay. Gulag trying to stick close to the kill and nearly gives over his life. Actually, I am Pa using the heal to make sure he stays alive, and Cork trying to make the plays now, but not finding anything in that bottom lane.
Devils played that really nicely, knowing exactly how to get out of there. And it's just the danger of the Zyrakan lane. They're so mobile, they can put so much damage, and they avoid so much. Nice gank though coming around the side, but they weren't able to execute it.
Gulag has obviously been listening to us when we told him he needs to become more active on the map as he starts making plays, or trying to make plays. A bit more positive from him, but given the deficit that Cork already faced, it may be too late for him to really be stepping up in this one. We'll see if he can look to catch out a few more people over the next while, but right now Sligo Rovers have that Zed snowballing. Kexius as well in the top lane has gone from taking a beating from the Scion to able to deal with them almost perfectly here. Has that Banner of Command finished as well, so he can start pressuring that top lane tower on his own, and Dakin might have caught it the Lee Sin as well, looking for the crowd control. Gulag is able to hop over the wall, but this jungle is no longer his.
Yeah, I mean, it's a odd thing that, like, they're so deep in the jungle, but they're just not afraid at all.
Dakin
but
might be a little bit too far forward, popping the Subjugate a bit early here. Alistair looking for the stun, but not able to land it with the trample. Trample on Trundle was what I was trying to get to. And that is the Terror going down in the bottom lane as well. Once again, Sligo able to just keep the pressure on so much. The Devil's able to get that objective for himself. And Sligo happy to take the extra gold.
So this is very telling now that we can see Dakin just invading and bullying Gulag around. So Gulag is now just completely on the back foot, and Dakin's pressure on the map, which has been so good at converting into actual objectives or kills, is just staying up. And we see the whole bottom side of Cork's jungle littered with wards to try and keep themselves safe. But that means that the top side of the map is dark. It'll be interesting to see, can Cork even defend it?
And certainly we do see the red buff. Gulag able to secure that for himself, looking to see if he can pick off Dragon Ship. Does land the Sonic Wave, wants to go for the fight. A lot of quick damage actually coming out of this Lee Sin, but the Death Mark coming down in response here. The stun follows, and Firth able to get that kill with the Primordial Burst, but Dragon Ship, Death Mark does it for the Zed. 3 kills for him now, and Sligo make sure that their mid laner's death was not in vain.
So close to that honey fruit, but not able to grab it, and just maybe that would have meant he could have lived. But see, I'm not seeing a lot of armor out of Gulag or Firth, and I get that you need the damage, but I also think it's a tricky one.
Oh, Kexi is looking to see if he can get this kill for himself. Should be able to CC this Veigar up for quite some time. However, Teddy Sprinkles looking for the re-engage here, and they should be able to stun lock this Cho'Gath for years. Kexi is though still alive for now, trying to make his way away. Krusty Pants though looking for the re-engage here, and Kexi's might finally be caught out. The Alistair is the one who takes away the kill here. And Cork are slowly beginning to collapse on these plays and find themselves a few kills.
They are, but we can see that the kill deficit in objective gold means that even despite all of that, they are still 3k gold ahead.
And Krusty Pants was thinking of something there. Blue Bullberry, though, is going for the re-engage here onto this Alistair, whose Unbreakable Will has just timed out. However, Cork, with the numbers in this mid lane to make any playmaking attempts from Sligo, just a little bit too risky for them right about now. They'll have to be content with just once again taking as many camps away as possible, just trying to keep the pressure up here on Cork City.
Absolutely. So what I was talking about is when you're behind, we're talking about itemization, is like when you're behind, it actually, there's value in building glass cannon, especially as an APAD. If you can just destroy and blow someone up on the other team, their value in gold is that much higher. So if you can kill them and remove them from the fight, it is statistically a win for you. That being said, I don't think Cork is so far behind that that's a strategy they need to be going for. I understand damage is always great, but if you can survive the Zed is neutered. And if he is not able to kill you or not able to trade into you for those 1-for-1s, that is a win and an advantage over to you. So Cork need to consider that. Especially where, and armor is just going to be useful against Dak and Dragon Ship and Devils.
And certainly a lot of physical damage coming out from this Sligo side. Firth choosing to finish off that Archangel Staff first of all, but you imagine that he may be looking to grab himself a Seeker's Arm Guard, just something so he has a little bit more survivability, especially against that Zed. Sonya's Zeragas be pretty nice when Zed keeps jumping in on you in these mid lane trades. Rift Arrow being focused up here, but Krusty Pants wants to engage. Blue Bullberry able to use the Battle Dance to get away before the stun comes through. Cork trying to control the area, but there are members of Sligo close by.
Yeah, the range of that Battle Dance is just so far. It's obnoxious and so difficult to lock the Rakan down. It's so funny, Rakan just completely becomes such a great support when paired with that Xayah, but alone, Cincinnati has just not been as good a pick.
You can see that top lane matchup being pushed in. The Cho'Gath now beginning to really take control of that 1 versus 1. Those 2 kills helping him out a little bit as well. Rift Herald is being started up by Sligo, and they seem to have control of every area of the map. The engage from Blue Bullberry as they go for that Veigar on the back here. Gulag looking for a counter engage, but Zed going for that 1 versus 1 on the backside. Exhaust down on him, but he still has the damage to finish off Firth. Goes back in for the double kill. Dragon Ship popping off on this Zed. He is shut down by the Alistair, but even so, a lot of the damage has already been done, and Krusty Pants had to give his life over to get that one. Blueberry takes him out to Portal Combat in favor of Sligo Rovers. Kexius as well finds himself a feast on this Scion, and he makes it a 4-4-1 fight in favor of Sligo Rovers.
And that was Kexius chasing down Tay Sprinkles while Iron Power was just trying to do damage to him. And this is the thing about ADC on the side, of course, the new one.
Kaisa?
Kaisa, thank you. I just complete mind blank there. That's the thing about Kaisa. She takes such a while to kind of unlock and get going. We saw this when Kevinman was playing her previously. It was surviving. Suddenly was doing damage, and unfortunately was caught out, and we never saw what happens after that. But Power's just trying to farm, and so often as his team has been kind of holding things off, holding off the pressure in mid lane, he's been farming top lane in the side waves just to try and keep himself in it. But with this Gwynsu completed, we should start to see
Dragon Ship thinking of making a play. Krusty Pants trying to force him away here. Event Horizon does go down. Cork have the disengage. You imagine that Furf has to be very scared every time he sees that Zed pop out of the fog of war.
Especially with his flash and exhaust down at the moment. But we can see them finally getting this Rift home.
Yep. Not choosing to peel away from it for the fight. Should be able to get this. Kexius will take the stack for himself as well, which is always greatly appreciated when you're on that Cho'Gath. Sligo Rovers playing this very, very nicely indeed when it comes to turning the lead they have into an objective, although they will be losing bot lane tower here with that Scion pushing alone.
Yeah, and Sprinkles pushing the lane in and just kind of slowly doing that damage and using his banner of command, I think, to help with that, and going to get an objective on the scoreboard for Cork and a little bit of gold. 4,000 gold now separates these two teams.
And he does use that unstoppable onslaught to get himself away from the danger that was impending with the Sligo bot lane rotating towards him. So able to get a tower on the board, gives Cork a little bit of gold back, but even so, still quite a deficit that they have to work against. About 4,500, and once again, when it comes to these fights, it just seemingly is not working out whenever they're able to find him. Maybe when they have a little bit more damage on the Kaisa, on the Veigar. Gwynsu's Rageblade has been finished for Iampa, so a little bit more of a threat now in these fights. Also Furf has the stopwatch, so a little bit more survivability, but still a long way to go for Cork.
Yeah, it would be really interesting to see how that works out for Furf and Iampa in the next team fight, because that could really make or break the whole game. Baron is now live, and we have a Drake in 1 minute spawning. Something we haven't really touched upon is that Sligo have secured the past two Drakes, a Mountain and an Ocean Drake.
Yeah, the Mountain Drake will come in handy when it comes to controlling these objectives here. You have to be wary. They can burn that down, and the Cho'Gath can just secure it away with the feast. Cork will need to be on their toes. Next Elemental Drake is spawning in about 35 seconds, and depending on what it is, Sligo may look to add that to their collection when it does spawn. They certainly have the control, I think, right now to make a play for an Elemental Drake. Baron, a little bit riskier potentially. You don't want to be caught out by that Scion engage and potentially lose your AD carry to something like the Lee Sin, but in any case, Drake should be fine for them, and you can see they have the members on that bottom side of the map.
And Furf can shut off that pit so nicely, but QSS completed for Dragon Ship, so he is now sitting pretty.
Yeah, he can jump on in and knows he has that extra safety valve when it comes to escaping. Also has his flash available in a few seconds, so the Zed is primed and ready to start making some plays. They have him split pushing as well, which when you have 5 kills as the Zed, it's probably a good idea to have him in maybe more of those one-on-one situations.
Yeah, and it looked like Gulag was rotating around to the top to try and catch him out there. He was sitting back whilst Tay Sprinkles was clearing the ward, but again, nothing has come of it, and unfortunately Gulag's presence on this map has just not been felt. And as a Lee Sin, that's exactly the opposite of what you want to be happening. So it's two champions that we've seen in the jungle, the Elise and the Lee Sin, who want that early game start, just haven't been able to do it.
Blueberry has walked into the Lee Sin here, and a lot of damage coming in from Gulag, but he is able to get over the wall with the help of the Battle Dance here, and now the return aggression is coming in from Sligo Rovers, looking to finish off Gulag here, and he goes down to Dragon Ship. This Zed is doing quite a bit of damage, and with the jungler off the board, once again, Sligo Rovers looking to keep the push going.
They absolutely are, and Dragonship making sure that this Z pick was the right call. Doing really well.
Nice stun comes in though, the re-engage from Cork City. They are 4 versus 4 right now, but Blueberry going for the backline as well. They just focus up Krusty Pants at the front, and despite Cork getting all the lockdown, the damage is just not there to get themselves a kill. Sligo can't find anything in return themselves, so it'll be a stalemate under this tower for now.
And Zed wasn't even there. So that's something to be said. A lot of damage coming out, but it's now just going to heal straight back up. And they're just going to continue pushing in, and it looks like they will be taking this mid lane turret very soon, while Zed is pushing in the top lane turret.
Dakin might have been a little bit over pressed there, and now Gulag looking for the engage onto the rest of Sligo that are making the retreat. They dodge out of the Event Horizon, but Kaisa can jump on in if she has the ultimate, and she does as well. Firth able to get the kill onto Kexius, and Cork finding something here, but in comes Dragonship, blows up the Kaisa to start the fight off, and now Devil's looking to make a play onto this Veigar here. Dragonship wreaking havoc in the backline. Krusty Pants though looking for the support fight. Teddy Sprinkles walks in and takes the kill away from him instead. Devils, can he secure this kill? He's going to back off. He's thinking better of it. Cork City capitalizing on one missed position from the enemy jungler and find themselves a positive fight.
They absolutely did. It was a nice fight. Messy fight though. Dragonship and Devils able to get away, and they are the key targets. They will be forced to back, but it gives Cork some respite, time to breathe, and get a few more items.
And certainly just allows them to stall for that little bit longer. Iron Pack can get more into the game. Firth can get more into the game as they stack up that damage as it goes on. And it has to be, once again, a positive sign for Cork City that they can take advantage of these and that Sligo are making these sorts of mistakes. If a couple more of those, and Cork find themselves in a great position to really take a positive team fight, because they have the champions for it. It's just a case of needing to find the right time for it as well.
Yeah, they absolutely do. Now, I don't think Zed has backed in quite a while. Yeah, I can see him backing right now. He's got a lot of gold in his back pocket, so I'll be interested to see what he ends up. Yep, there we go. Straight away, Yumu's completed. Phage picked up as well as some boots to run faster.
He's going to be getting that black cleaver, so even if you're a tank, you might be feeling the wrath of the Zed. And it's only even more dangerous for the Squishy members when he has that item here. Cork, though, have a good opportunity to clear out some wards. However, Dakin might be thinking of a fight here. He's knocked away by Krusty Pants, but Blueberry with the engage from the side. First, trying to do what he can to zone away with the Event Horizon, but that Kaisa was in no man's land. Kill goes over to Dragonship here, and Kexi is able to take out the opposing top laner as well. 2 more for Sligo towards that Baron. And now they can look towards the objective.
And you'd imagine this is the Baron, because without Iron Pa, who's taken out early on in the fight, they're all sitting pretty at quite full health. It's now at half health. Gulai coming around the back, hoping to get a steal, but I don't see him getting it. Blueberry will likely try and zone this.
Needs to find a way over the wall, and it is not going to happen. Baron secured by Sligo Rovers.
And we see that rotating map. So Cork getting a good fight. To their advantage, a bit of room to breathe, but then Sligo just resetting the map, forcing a fight down, and then taking over completely. Kexius now going back to this bot lane, but he is sitting pretty at 4-2-2, and he must be feeling good about his matchup against Teddy Sprinkles, but particularly Dragonship. 8-3-2. Doing great.
That's exactly what you want when you lock in the Zed. From minute 1, he was able to get himself these kills to start the game off. You can snowball that as the Zed, and he's been playing these fights very, very well. Quite precise from Dragonship, I think, when it comes to diving that backline and just doing as much effective damage as possible without going overly ham and risking his life. It's been very nicely played, I think, from the Sligo Rovers mid laner, and showing that he can execute on a pick that, if you're not careful enough, can sometimes not work out the best.
Definitely can, and we see Dragonship trying to split push now in the top, and I'm not sure Sprinkles can deal with him. We'll have to see what happens. Zonia's Hourglass finished for Firth, though. He does have the exhaust up, so now's an opportunity. Krusty Pants trying to get some breathing room for him. Action happening.
Oh, we do see Krusty Pants very, very low with the Unbreakable Will on the Alistair here, and Dakin able to finish off that kill as the tower goes down as well. Blueberry, though, is taken down by the Kaisa, and now Nice Event Horizon will keep the members locked in. Devils falls, and maybe Cork have another fight in their favor. Going ham, but Kexi is able to turn it around, and once again, Dragon Ship, the trump card for Sligo Rovers, helping out on the back line. This Cho'Gath, though, he is a big boy, and he's looking for Teddy Sprinkles as he tries to get back into his base. The damage will follow him, looking for the decimating smash, but Dragon Ship gonna go over the wall. He wants to fight, and a nicely timed pillar means that the last Q from Teddy Sprinkles will not come through. Sligo lost their AD carry early on, but kept their cool and win the fight.
Kexis did a really good job. Ironpad did a really good job at the start of the fight. Nearly got the kill. Wasn't able though to. And when he jumped in, he got close to Kexis, who just used the chomp and took him out. And that results in a mid lane inhibitor going down for Cork, and Sligo sitting at 14,000 gold ahead of their opponents.
Certainly, Sligo Rovers have left the base of Cork City in a pretty bad way. Inhibitor down in the mid lane, another one exposed in that bottom lane now. No objectives up for them after they finish off this Ocean Drake, so maybe they just look to go for the classic siege. There is that inhibitor they can focus on the bottom side, or even just look for a team fight. It's been a little bit dodgy at times, but I think if Devil stays alive, then Sligo should be in a fantastic spot to take these fights.
It is really hard for Cork to do anything at the moment. There's nothing on the map. The Drake is...
Dragon Ship looking to see if he can pick off for a Fear. Gulag, though, there to help him out, but Dragon Ship will be looking for the outplay here. Kicked back by the Lee Sin, looking to cleanse the damage, and the kill comes through! And now Dragon Ship just looking to delay for as long as possible. I think he knows he's been caught out here. Shutdown comes in. It's a 1-for-1 trade here, and without Sligo getting much pressure right now, I think the Zed being off the map actually could work a little bit nicely for Cork City.
Yeah, I was going to say it's definitely actually to the advantage of Cork City. Dragon Ship is down for 40 seconds, Firth only for 25, but nonetheless, I think he wanted to go for that kill. As I was saying though, it's so hard for Cork at the moment. There's nothing on the map. Sligo have triple Ocean Drake, so they can just keep on
Devil's
poking.
looking to play aggressive here, but looking to see if Cork can get a re-engage onto him. He uses the Feather Storm pretty early, and now Cork are on the disengage, trying to get some damage on this Alistair, but Unbreakable Will means he can deny a lot of it. However, they forced him away from the inhibitor. Have to watch out for the respawn timer on the Veigar. Zed cannot join them as quickly, so they will be risking a 4 versus 5 fight. So Sligo take the inhibitor and make an exit.
But that's 2 inhibitors down. We see the top lane wave pushing over to the top lane turret, outer turret there. So they're going to just rotate round to the top with 3 Ocean Drakes. They have so much sustain that they're absolutely fine. Cork are being aggressive, which is I do like. They're pushing out, they're trying to ward the jungle, they're trying to keep an eye on Sligo and not give them too much breathing room and to get away with it. But
we do see they do manage to lock up this Cho'Gath Stone Blade pop though, and look at the size of that health bar. It does fade away, and Kexius now is in a little bit more danger here as he is just locked in place forever and ever. Shutdown comes in for I Am Pa. Cho'Gath off the board. Once again, Sligo missing a member. However, they might be able to find one back here, but it is only Dak and a Blue Wool Berry, so not a lot of damage coming through. Look at Dragon Ship, though. Once again, he's just ignoring the fight. He wants to go for the base. However, looks like the recalls are coming in, and it's going to be tough for Sligo to stop these. You see Krusty Pants able to knock Blue Wool Berry away. Dragon Ship might not find himself a lot of time on this Nexus Terror, but he is able to get one down for himself. However, they're just walking back to this base. He is going to face members of Cork City on all sides, and Dragon Ship might look to make an exit here. Deathmark going to be used on I Am Pa, but he gets immediately away from Dragon Ship, who's actually going to be able to find his way out.
that was a great movement, inspired by Rengus to backdoor. Unfortunately, was stopped before he could end the game, but with some nimble fingers and some good use of spells, he does get away with his life and just backs off into the jungle. Looks like he's going to go back to base, reset, buy a couple of items. They grab the top turret. It's the only one standing, with the only inhibitor standing now in the top lane. It's obviously going to be the focus of the team, but Baron is up in 1 minute. Cork just slowly being strangled out, and they're doing their best by being aggressive, warding their jungle, trying to catch people out, and I like it. I like the play that they're trying to do, but I'm just not sure it's enough.
I mean, they're making some nice moves. They have shown that they can take these fights sometimes if they have the right engage, or if Sligo's engage isn't particularly clean. They can make these picks, but just the lead that Sligo have already amassed, and even when they are losing these fights, they find a way to either stick in it, or like we saw Dragon Ship do there, just sneak through the mid lane and take himself a Nexus Tower. Cork City doing their best to defend here, but Sligo just able to find answers in a lot of these cases.
And so much of it is really around Iampa at the moment, because he has the items to do the damage now. Like, he is shredding. But if he gets killed, or if he dives in and Kexius is able to get that chomp, he will just die before he's able to do anything. So we'll have to see what ends up
Jackson might have found
happening.
himself a pick. They're looking for the Alistair here, but Event Horizon used once again to disengage. That will slow Sligo down if they try to find the members on the side of Cork. Firth doing a good job of making sure his support's in a good spot. Gulag, though, might not be so lucky here. It kicks away Dragon Ship. We do actually see them maybe looking to see if they can turn it back around, but it returns back to his shadow. Bubbleberry now looking for the re-engage here, and they have the Alistair. Quick damage coming through with that Unbreakable Will not available here. Respawn for the inhibitor coming through in the mid lane. Sligo don't care about that yet. They want the Baron first.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that it's the only objective on the map, and we have the next Drake coming up in 1 minute. And is that Elder? No,
that wouldn't be the Elder.
It will be the final Drake.
Exactly.
But then the next one will be Elder Dragon if it lasts that long, but it's unlikely with Baron now on 5 members of Sligo. Inhibitor has respawned in mid lane, so a little bit more breathing room. Cork have done well to hold out so long, and it's the second game we've had over 30 minutes today, so longer games than we're normally accustomed to, but this is really, really tough for Cork.
Certainly, they will need a very, very advantageous team fight, I should say here. Gulag looking to nip in, nip out. Maybe trying to see if he could angle for a play, but not able to find one just yet, as Sligo bear down on this mid inhibitor. This freshly respawned mid inhibitor won't be living long for this world here. This is taken down. Krusty Pants though looking for the engage, flashing forward, trying to get the knockback here. But however, he is just being melted in the front line, even with the ultimate on. Finished off by Kexius with the feast here. Teddy Sprinkles having to flash over the wall on the other side. Meanwhile, Dragon Ship once again in that back line, causing chaos. Iampa will fall to Bubbleberry, and now the kills rolling in for Sligo. This is most likely it. Gulag try to see if he get one last resonating strike, but Dragon Ship says no. 4 kills for Sligo, looking for the 5th onto Firth here, who is a long way from home, and that will be it. Sligo Rovers keep up their winning waves, moving to 6-2 here in round 8.
5 wins in a row. Final score of 13-4-4 for Dragon Ship. He must be feeling great about that. But the whole team, everyone in Sligo really stepped up. Kexius finishing off with 7 kills in the top lane. Great performance coming out of them. They must be feeling good. Securing basically their playoff chances at the moment.
Yeah, they're in a fantastic spot right now. I mean, Sligo Rovers 6-2. There's very unlikely now that they actually fall out of the playoff spots, given their tiebreaker scenarios as well. Just doing the job they needed to against Cork.
Absolutely. So we're about to get the standings up on screen. The final ones for the day. Shamrock Rovers sitting in first place, continuing their win streak now at 7-1. Sligo Rovers and Team 3 tied up for second place at 6-2. Dundalk 5-3, so they won their match against Limerick as expected. Now St. Pat's are tied with Dundalk for 4th place, and they must be feeling nervous.
And certainly, especially given the form that Dundalk are in. But Dundalk have to deal with Sligo Rovers next week. Both those teams actually a pretty tricky game, because St. Pat's go up against Team 3. So we have 2 battles of teams with 6 wins against teams with 5 wins. And depending on how those work out, it is going to have a massive impact on how this playoff picture finishes.
It is going to be so exciting. Today has meant a lot. We can see what the top 5 teams are. We can see who will likely turn up, but we're not sure yet, and it's all going to come down to what happens on Thursday. Make sure you guys tune in, but that's it from us. Thanks a lot.
Adam, Nikita, and David, thank you so much as always for this evening. What a game to go out on though, fantastic. I think Shamrock Rovers should certainly be worried after that Sligo performance. Very happy team walking out of here right now. We're going to be speaking to the captains, Kevin, and unfortunately Adam, you did not have the best of games. We will get into it in just a moment straight after this.
Video games are the latest craze to sweep the...
Once,
You're watching the most
gaming was a simple pursuit. Groundbreaking. Yet limiting.
Video fever. The games people play.
And then, it evolved.
This is the next generation of video games, but these...
And so too did the gamer.
Professional, competitive video gaming.
You see, the thing about evolution,
This is what kids are doing. This is what people want to see.
it never ends.
I wanted you to know that I am ready to go. Heartbeat, my heartbeat.
Now, we're here. On the Vegas Strip.
Is it going to connect? It's going to stay close to Jake. Oh! Champion, Ghost Gaming.
Las Vegas Daddy is going to be there.
Big upset.
Anyone can play. Are you ready? Ready?
And welcome back. As promised, I am joined by Kevin from Sligo and Adam from Cork, the happier man above me here. There's definitely a theme with our successful gamers tonight. It's the taller of the bunch, towering above me and towering above everyone else in the leaderboard. You must be delighted with that performance there. We knew that was going to be a good game, but that is very, very impressive as we head in towards the last few games for the final.
Well, I mean, as you said, Holly, tallest bot lane in Ireland, best bot lane in Ireland, and we just showed that, you know. I think the game was a bit longer than we expected, and fair play to Cork. They actually fended us off pretty well towards the latter end of the game, and, you know, there was a few kind of small macro mistakes, but overall it was a good performance, and I think the team is looking strong, looking towards playoffs, and hopefully we just secure that second seed from here, unless, you know, we see a big upset with Bows playing Rovers on Thursday. So, yeah, it should be straightforward from here. Go straight to playoffs.
As you said, Kevin, you are sort of guaranteed now a place in the playoffs. That realisation, that kind of taking off that pressure, will that help as you go into the next round back here at DCU on Thursday?
Well, you see, we are faced with I'll say a challenge in a way. Dundalk have been on an incredible run of form recently. You know, Goose is showing up for once, which is interesting. We've got, you know, Blaze playing really well as well, and Costa Corda seems to have like completely adapted to top lane. So they are a strong roster. We realise that, and we've made our mistakes before with underestimating teams when we played Bows. So I think that's not going to happen again. We're going to go out there and just play a standard game, just beat them as fast as we can, and show that we are the top team going into playoffs, even though the leaderboard doesn't reflect it. But I think skill and macro-wise, we definitely do.
And you mentioned that you're not the top team. Shamrock Rovers, obviously big competition. You've been watching them play, watching them progress throughout the weeks. When you watch their style and compare that to yours, do you feel confident going into the final?
Yeah, Shamrock Rovers' style is very based around Dano or Zoinkers. Incredible player, and he showed that today in his really good performance on Yasuo. But in a way that kind of limits them as a team. They rely very heavily on him to carry, and they have, you know, their bot lane as a backup then. But again, they've been on a really good run of form. Ever since we played them in week 2, it looks like they've been improving every week, but I feel like we have as well. So I think when we do finally meet, personally I think it'll be in the finals. When we do finally meet, I think it's going to be a clash of titans, and we're going to have a great, great series on our hands for the finals.
I think you're absolutely right. A clash of the titans. He's just about summed it up there, Kevin. Looking forward to it. 5 consecutive wins for Sligo. Congratulations to you. Oh, Adam, for Cork, though, was such a disappointment. You held your own so well in that last game. But, I mean, to come off a defeat last week and again this week, hugely disappointing for this team.
Yeah, it's a sad story for Cork, but we tried our best. Sadly, I think week 1 was probably our best performance. That was our peak week 1, and then it was just downhill from there. But we had fun in the end. We've one game left, but it doesn't really matter. We're pretty much out at this stage, so we're just playing for glory. But yeah, Derry, free win, I guess, maybe. Is it a free win? Hopefully they leave us play whatever we want and we just have a bit of fun with it, so it's not too, we're not too worried.
Well, this is it, and as you say, Derry still looking for their first victory in this competition, so you never know, they will be looking for it. They're fighting for pride, which sometimes can be more important, maybe not more important than 20,000 euros, but there is a still chance to kind of trip up some of these other teams now, the likes of Shamrock Rovers, St. Pat's, and of course your good selves. You know, that didn't go too well tonight, but you will be looking to be the banana skin in this tournament.
Yeah, best of the worst, that's what we say. Best of the worst, that's how Cork has performed so far. We beat the worst teams, we lose to the best teams. There was an upset week 1, but I think Shamrock kind of bounced back from that straight away. So, and yeah, we're happy that we were the only loss to Shamrock so far, for Shamrock.
No shame in that whatsoever.
No shame in that. Beat the best team, that's what matters.
Exactly. Then you can go home happy anyway. But look, you've been absolutely fantastic. A great team to work with. It's just, you can tell that you've got so much support from each other. You've worked so well together. You must be very pleased, and you'll be back here on Thursday, won't you?
Yep, 100% back. Maybe we might give Derry a free win just to make them feel a little better, you know?
I don't think the team agrees.
Poor Derry. I feel bad for Derry. You know, they're a nice bunch of guys, but sadly, they're just not good at League of Legends, I guess.
Oh, still at this point in the competition, still some fighting talk. The team don't agree with you, but look, it's been absolutely brilliant. We've had an amazing night here once again. Believe it or not, we will be back right here at DCU here in Dublin for the second leg on Thursday. Do not miss it on Twitch. It'll be another evening as we approach the grand final on the 13th of May at the 3 Arena in Dublin. Get your tickets soon. It is going to be a nail-biter. But from everyone here, remember, this is not a game. Good night.
This is the biggest challenge of their lives.
This is the fastest growing spectator sport in the world.
They seriously don't understand how good I am at this game, and we are going to win this.
Hi, I'm Liam from 3 Ireland's EStars.
Hi, I'm Tim from Peak.
And we're here to launch 3 Ireland's EStars merchandise.
Designed by Peak.
Cut.
Hey, you're allowed to come off now, mate. Okay. There you go.
Three Ireland's EStars is an amateur gaming competition in which we will give the opportunity to an amateur gamer to become Ireland's next EStar. We've partnered with the clubs across the League of Ireland, so there already is a rivalry there on a competition. We're dipping into that rivalry and we're taking it to the gaming scene. Peak is a very similar brand to ourselves, what Tim Crew's trying to do and break into the markets, and similar to us, we're looking to break into a new market as well. I think there's a great synergy there between ourselves and Peak.
It's a really exciting partnership. It's such a new business. I think it's amazing to give anybody an opportunity to be able to go on a big stage in front of thousands and thousands of people, and the final is going to be immense.